Chapter 1160. Genius. 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel. Good. I also need to prepare a battle report. John Tan nodded. All of you wait here quietly. Don't do anything rash. Knight Sorrow looked at the Nine Heavens Army sovereigns and said, Your Highnesses, please go quickly. I'm in a hurry. Wei Wei said. Knight Sorrow and John Tan sat on the teleportation formation set up by the Nine Heavens Army's formation master and returned to the Nine Heavens building. After a short discussion, Knight Sorrow and John Tan arrived at the Qing Emperor's palace's military headquarters. The Azure Supreme. The Arch Dynasty was a huge peak faction, a super dynasty. Without the Azure Supreme Thearcha's interference, everything was run independently. There were also officials overseeing everything. When the two arrived at the military headquarters, a few elders stood up to greet Knight Sorrow and John Tan. Knight Sorrow and John Tan returned the greeting and sat down. I'm Military Commander Tan Lin. Your Highnesses should be here for the Nine Heavens Army's defensive zone, right? An elder from the military headquarters asked. Yes. Call Qing Lin and Qing Wan over. John Tan pulled Knight Sorrow and sat down. Tan Lin nodded and sent someone to inform Qing Lin and Qing Wan. Now that there were two armies in the empire, the Qilin army naturally couldn't monopolize the defensive zone. After Qing Lin received the message, he informed Qing Wan and the two met at Qing Lin Palace. They should be asking for a defensive zone. Brother, you can say that our defense is very good. Give them a barren zone. They can take it or leave it. Qing Wan said. Qing Lin nodded. He had the same idea. If they insisted on arguing over a defensive zone, John Tan and Knight Sorrow would lose face. It wouldn't be easy for them to build up their reputation again. When they arrived at the military headquarters, the four princes sat on the two sides of a long table. Below them were some officials from the military headquarters. Your Highnesses, please take a look at the defensive zones. After that, you all can discuss how to divide the defensive zones, Tan Lin said as he took out a military blueprint and placed it on the table. Our Lin Luan army has defended Dynasty's territory well. Now that the Nine Heavens Army wants to take over, it will mess up our original plan. Let's find a place that won't affect the current situation. Green Unicorn immediately rejected the idea of taking action in Dynasty's territory. Is the situation good now? I haven't participated in any wars for 5 million years. Qing Lin, what territory have you guys taken for Dynasty? This used to belong to Dynasty, and this used to belong to Dynasty. But now, it belongs to someone else. Is it because you're not capable enough or did you give it to them? John Tan pointed at a few spots on the map. What do you mean? Qing Lin was embarrassed by Si Tan's words. I just wanted to tell you to behave yourself in front of me. Don't be so arrogant. If it wasn't for my master, you're just a piece of shit. John Tan stood up and pointed at Qing Lin. You've gone too far. Qing Lin stood up too. Defense zone. Nine Heavens Army wants it here. John Tan looked at Qing Lin, Crown Prince, and pointed at the map. Impossible. That's the area that I've guarded for 5 million years. You want it? Impossible. Qing Lin shouted as he looked at the area that John Tan pointed at. Don't be so arrogant. Why should you take it just because you want it? Green Phoenix stood up too. I won't bully you guys. Knight Sorrow, tell them why? John Tan nodded at Knight Sorrow. Generals, in this area, the Qing Emperor's dynasty has always been suppressed. We've always been on the defensive. The Green Qilin army can't change this situation. The resources that we've used up every year are a burden to the dynasty. Therefore, the Nine Heavens Army wants to take over and change this, Knight Sorrow said. The Green Qilin army can't change this, but you can? Qing Lin looked at Knight Sorrow with disdain. The Red Emperor's country has always been plundering the Qing Emperor's dynasty using Heaven Tiger Pass as proof. You guys can't change this, but I can. Therefore, you have to give it up, Knight Sorrow said. Hair, shameless boasting. If you can take it, the Lin Luan army will give you the area you want. If you can't, then don't talk so big in the future. The Nine Heavens Army will retreat when they see the Lin Luan army. Qing Lin slammed the table and shouted. Insulting Knight Sorrow is nothing, but insulting the soldiers of the Nine Heavens Army? Qing Lin, you're really something. Since you said that, I have something to say too. What if I take it down? I won't ask the Lin Luan army to do anything, but you'll take a detour when you see the Nine Heavens war flag. Do you dare bet? Knight Sorrow looked at Qing Lin coldly. Do you think I'm afraid of trash like you? I'll give you 1 month. If you can't take down Heaven Tiger Pass in 1 month, then scram, Qing Lin shouted again. Military officials were all witnesses to today's bet. It's settled. Jean Tan stood up and said. The military officials all stood up and cupped their hands. They knew that the army's defense area would be a big problem, but they didn't expect the conflict to be so intense. Junior brother, have some tea with master. We're going to work. Jean Tan called out to Night Sorrow, and the two of them walked towards the Azure Sky Pavilion. The two of them stood outside the pavilion for a while, then Shen Daozi invited them in. Did you have a fight? Night Sorrow, what are you planning to do? Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'm here today to ask Master some questions. Master, please make a decision. Night Sorrow bowed. You're both important. I won't ask about what's going on between you two. Qing Emperor shook his head. He was worried that Night Sorrow would have concerns. I'm not asking about that. I'm asking if the Qing Emperor's dynasty wants Heaven Tiger Pass, Night Sorrow said. Yes or no? Do you have to just say it? Qing Emperor looked surprised. Master, if you say no, I'll turn it into a wasteland. If you want it, then you'll have to think of something, Night Sorrow said. You can turn it into a wasteland? Qing Emperor stood up. He didn't ask about the war between the dynasties, but he knew how important Heaven Tiger Pass was to the Red Emperor's kingdom and Qing Emperor's dynasty. He knew how much influence it had. Yes, I've already made some preparations. I wanted to take it, but I can't. Heaven Tiger Pass is currently defending against the Qing Emperor's dynasty. They don't have any defenses against themselves. If I take it down, I won't be able to defend it. If it falls into their hands, it'll be a threat to us. Night Sorrow took out the map of Heaven Tiger Pass and placed it on the table. Then he pointed out the key points. Night Sorrow, Master, this is a good map. Why are you messing it up? Shen Daozi looked at the map and pouted. This isn't messing it up. The places marked here are areas that you can control, Jean Tan said with a smile. What? Night Sorrow, you can control these places? Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow with surprise. Chapter 1161. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel. How can we give up Sky Tiger Pass? We have to. They spent a lot of effort and resources to build it. It would be a pity to destroy it. The Sky Tiger Pass is a natural formation, but I've studied it and can change it to our advantage. As long as you can take it down, I'll find a way to help you build the defense. If you need resources and manpower, the dynasty will provide it. The Qing Emperor made his decision. Okay, then I'll wait for the news. Night Sorrow bowed. Night Sorrow, once this matter is settled, I will help you forge a monarch-ranked battle suit. This is the array disc for the Great Disorienting Fog Array. After taking down Heaven Tiger Pass, release the disorienting fog array in the area you need to defend. Then inform me. The Azure Supreme the Arch handed Night Sorrow an array disc. Thank you, Master. I'll take my leave. Night Sorrow nodded. Night Sorrow and Sandal returned to the 9-story tower. They each drank a jar of wine at the corner of the tower with the Jiutian battle flag. After drinking, Night Sorrow and Sandal teleported back to Sky Tiger Pass. Commander, when are we going to fight? Sky Tiger Pass is right in front of us. Nu Lin was a little anxious. Night Sorrow then told them about the Qing Emperor's decision. Commander, please give the order. Nu Lin and the other three bowed. Send the people here now. I'll go to the commander's office to poison them. Then we'll start the fight. Night Sorrow said. Junior brother, we can't do that. You can't use poison in the world of samsara unless you're a practitioner of poison. There's no restriction in individual fights, but if you use poison in a group fight, you'll be a public enemy. That's the rule. Sandal pulled Night Sorrow back. Then we can only fight according to the current situation. Send the people here first and then assign the task. Night Sorrow nodded. The 9 Heavens Legion, who were already prepared, quickly teleported into the illusion array. Although it was a little crowded, it was still very quiet. Next, we'll arrange for the battle. 2 military regions will attack one of the enemy's armies in a pincer attack. We'll fight according to the arrangement of the military camps. The 2 armies will be led by 1 army commander. Thunder Army Commander, you'll lead the Thunder Army and Dingxiang Army to attack this place. Night Sorrow pointed at Sky Tiger Stronghold's northwest military camp on the map. I promise to complete the mission. Qin Leitang tapped his chest armor. General Tranquility, lead the Angry Lin Army and the Tranquility Army to attack the southeast barracks. Night Sorrow gave Tranquility the mission. I promise to complete the mission. Tranquility tapped his chest plate with his left hand. Remember one thing. If something unexpected happens and you can't hold on any longer, just pour your energy into the ground and hit 2 Holy Spirit stones. That way you'll be able to trap the enemy, Night Sorrow instructed Qin Lei Tang and In Ping. Where is your subordinate? Nu Lin asked. Don't rush. One by one. After the battle begins, senior brother, Old Summer, you two will activate the killing array outside the southwest and northeast barracks and trap the enemy. Me, General Nu Lin Army Commander, and General Wei Wei will destroy the teleportation array. Then we'll meet up at the Stronghold Commander's office. That's where the battle will take place, Night Sorrow said to Zhan Tan and Summer City. Okay. Zhan Tan nodded. Your Highness, be careful. Your subordinate will go and complete the mission Your Highness has assigned. Although Summer City wasn't willing, he couldn't go against Night Sorrow's will at this time. Brothers, I, Night Sorrow, am very sorry. My combat power is limited, so I'll have to rely on everyone for the upcoming battle. I only have one request, and that is to stay alive. After the battle, everyone must stay alive. Night Sorrow turned around and bowed to the Nine Heavens Legion. Everyone bowed back to Night Sorrow. Also, General Lei Ting and General Wei Ning, be careful. If the northwest and southeast barracks don't have any sovereigns, then you must support the Stronghold Commander's office as soon as possible. Their experts might be at the Stronghold Commander's office. Night Sorrow reminded Qin Lei Ting and Wei Ning. Your subordinate understands. Qin Lei Ting and Wei Ning nodded. Draw your weapons and raise your battle flag. Let's fight. Night Sorrow shouted and opened up a gap in the illusion array. As for the teleportation array, Night Sorrow didn't send anyone to guard it because Sky Tiger Pass didn't have the ability to counterattack. Once the illusion array was opened, the Nine Heavens Legion moved. Night Sorrow flew towards the teleportation array while Nu Lin Army Commander and Wei 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 followed closely behind Night Sorrow. After arriving at the teleportation formation, Nu Lin's giant halberd slashed towards the two monarchs guarding the teleportation formation. Wei Wei waved his sharp sword and killed some of the guards with his sword chi. Night Sorrow arrived at the teleportation formation and removed a few teleportation crystals. Then he destroyed the teleportation formation. Alright, let's go to the Stronghold Commander's office. Once we take it down, the situation will be settled. Night Sorrow said and flew towards the Stronghold Commander's office. Commander, slow down. Nu Lin Army Commander rode his beast and followed Night Sorrow. He was afraid that if something happened to Night Sorrow, then Zhan Tan wouldn't forgive him and the Qing Emperor would take care of her. After flying for a while, Summer City and Zhan Tan arrived. The two of them were there to complete their mission, but they were also worried about Night Sorrow's safety. This was a battle between King and Overlord level. Night Sorrow's 2-star King was too weak. If the Overlord level attacked, he would die in one hit. Then the few of them arrived at the Stronghold Commander's office. At this time, the Sky Tiger Pass was filled with whistles, drums and thunder. Everyone knew that they had been ambushed. When Night Sorrow and the others arrived, 3 people walked out of the Stronghold Commander's office. Summer City? You are here to do such a sneaky thing. An old man looked at Summer City and said, Jiang Zheng, aren't you here too? Summer City waved his sword and said, I am Majesty 4's protector. Majesty 4 is the commander. Of course I am here. The old man with a cold aura, Jiang Zheng, said, What a coincidence. I am Night Sorrow's protector. He is the commander of the Nine Heavens Army. So I am here. No need to say anything. Let's fight. Summer City waved his sword and slashed at the old man. You will all die today. Zhan Tan also held his blood-red sword in his hand. Zhan Tan? Your Majesty, let's go. He is Zhan Tan. Seeing Zhan Tan's sword, Jiang Zheng shouted. Zhan Tan? Are you crazy? The white-clothed youth standing in front of the Stronghold Commander's office said, I am crazy but I am fine. Zhan Tan said, It is not a shame that I lost to you. The white-clothed man's face was very calm. Jiwa, you are wrong. You did not lose to me. You lost to my junior brother, Night Sorrow. Zhan Tan pointed at Night Sorrow with his left hand. Night Sorrow. 9 domain worlds Night Sorrow. Seems like you are doing well in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. You didn't handle the red capital matter well and ended up in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. The white-clothed man looked at Night Sorrow and thought of something. I will kill you today. Nu Lin waved his halberd and slashed at Chiwa. However, another man beside Chiwa stopped Nu Lin. Chapter 1162. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel to read. Wei Wei, protect His Highness Night Sorrow. Sandalwood brandished her blade. The blood-red blade carried a soul-shaking aura. There were even black threads circulating within the blade. Destruction energy. Although it was only a small amount, Night Sorrow knew that it was destruction energy. Night Sorrow finally understood why Sandalwood was so famous. It was because her attributes and willpower were strong. The intensity of her attacks was not something an ordinary cultivator could possess. "Your Highness, run!" Jiang Jing roared. His roar was filled with despair because Summer City had already chopped off his left shoulder and arm. After shouting, his body was shrouded in blood as he tried to escape. "Do you think you can escape today?" Universe's 7 murders. Summer City brandished his blade and executed his ultimate move. It was considered a test since Jiang Zheng was not on the same level as the Zhangyan monarch. He had to be cautious. As Summer City executed his ultimate move, the heavily injured Jiang Zheng's body was sliced into pieces. However, Summer City, who had taken his weapon and interspatial ring, knew that it was only his combat doppelganger that was killed. At this moment, Sandalwood had also killed White Robe Chiwa. Chiwa attacked a few times to test the waters. He didn't dodge and allowed Sandalwood's blade to kill him. The one that died was also his combat doppelganger. Nu Lin had also finished his battle. Nu Lin, Wei Wei, go back to your respective legions. Without their commanders here, Lei Ting and Calm Peace Legion will be under pressure, Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin and Wei Wei. The 2 of you can go. Elder Xia and I will stay here. Night Sorrow's safety is not a problem. The 3 of us will occupy the stronghold commander's residence. Sandalwood nodded when she saw Nu Lin and Wei Wei looking at Night Sorrow. After dealing with the 2 barracks, the 2 of you will surround the nearest barracks. Take care of the soldiers that rush out. Don't let a single one escape. If you can subdue them, tie them up. Do you have any ideas? Night Sorrow asked. Yes, Commander, don't worry. Nu Lin and Wei Wei nodded. They now admired Night Sorrow from the bottom of their hearts. The army needed such a strategist. Summer City and Sandalwood followed Night Sorrow into the stronghold commander's office. The 2 of them were filled with killing intent and they killed anyone they saw. Moments later, the commander-in-chief's residence was taken down. Those who weren't killed were sent to the courtyard. There was a group of people kneeling there as well as some women. These were Chiwa's family members. All of you quiet down. War is cruel, but I won't harm the innocent. Uncle Xia, watch this place. No one is allowed to touch the resources of the commander-in-chief's office, Night Sorrow said to Summer City. What about you, Your Highness? Summer City did not want to leave Night Sorrow's side. Senior brother and I will go to the other battlefield to take a look. There are still 2 troops trapped by the death trap array that need to be dealt with. We will come over once we are done, Night Sorrow said. Summer City thought for a moment and nodded. With Sandalwood by Night Sorrow's side, it was unrealistic for anyone to touch Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow arrived at the Northwest military camp and realized that the battle had already ended. A few large metal cages were filled with captives. A small group of Thunder Army soldiers was guarding them. The leader of the guards was Achio. Greetings, Commander. Achio and his men bowed to Night Sorrow. Watch them well and don't mistreat them. Soldiers who protect their country deserve respect. After the battle, there will be appropriate arrangements, Night Sorrow said to Achio. Soon after, Night Sorrow arrived at the Northeast Barracks, where the battle was still going on. Qin Leitang and Wei Wei led the Thunder Army and Dingxiang Army to surround the perimeter of the confinement killing array. They captured and killed the soldiers who rushed out. Commander, you are here. Everything is going well, Qin Leitang said as he waved the large sword in his hand. How are the casualties? Night Sorrow asked. This was what he was most worried about. He didn't want his brothers who came with him to be carried back. There are very few deaths. Some are seriously injured, but more are lightly injured. Qin Leitang's face was filled with excitement when he said this. That's good. We will continue to deal with them in this manner. When there are no more enemies rushing out and there are no more experts left inside, we will release the death trap array and wipe them all out. Night Sorrow waved his arm. Yes. Qin Leitang and Wei Wei bowed. All right, I will go to the battlefield of the angry Qilin army to take a look. Another small group will be sent to the stronghold commander's office to maintain order. Night Sorrow instructed and went to the battlefield of the angry Qilin army and Ning with Sandalwood. The situation at the southwest military camp where the angry Qilin army and Ping army were at was similar to Qin Leitang's. Night Sorrow arranged for the heavily injured to rest. They would first surround and kill them, then release the death trap array and finish them off once and for all. Following which, Yi Shang and Santan flew along the terrain of the Heaven Tiger Pass. When they reached the edge of the city, Yi Shang took out the array disc that the Azure Supreme the Arch had given him and threw it into the air to activate it. The array was activated and a fog shrouded the surroundings. After doing this, Night Sorrow and Sandalwood returned to the Stronghold Commander's office. At this time, the Nine Heavens war flag was erected in the corner of the Stronghold Commander's office. The outcome is set. Junior brother, you did well. Sandalwood patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. He was quite impressed. Sandalwood was an invincible commander with tyrannical combat strength. He was good at fighting and killing. He couldn't have used tactics like Night Sorrow to easily end the battle with almost no casualties. Senior brother, don't praise me. The Nine Heavens army is strong enough. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to win this battle. Night Sorrow smiled and shook his head. In the main hall of the Stronghold Commander's office, Summer City hugged his sword and sat. When he saw Night Sorrow and Sandalwood enter the hall, he stood up. Uncle Xia, I'll have to trouble you to make a trip and tell Master that Heaven Tiger Pass has been taken. Now, we need to hurry up and figure out how to build a defense. Otherwise, when the enemy counterattacks, our great fog array alone won't be enough, Yishan said to Xia Cheng. Okay, I will go immediately. Your Highness, please don't leave Princess Sandalwood and the other commanders. Safety is important. Summer City reminded Yi Shiwen before leaving. Senior brother, after taking down this place, we can use it as a base to attack and defend. It will also be convenient for us to fight against the Dark Abyss, Night Sorrow said. Soldiers always want to make a name for themselves in their first battle. Junior brother, you are ruthless enough. You are destined to be recorded in the history of the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Sandalwood said. Night Sorrow and Sandalwood then walked around the Stronghold Commander's office. Sandalwood didn't know what Night Sorrow was doing. However, after walking for a while, Night Sorrow's face changed. Senior brother, attack the ground. There really is a teleportation portal. Night Sorrow held the sky splitter and attacked the ground. When Sandalwood heard Night Sorrow's words, her face changed as well. She slashed the ground with her battle sword. A few feet away, Night Sorrow and Sandalwood slashed through the ground. It was an underground armory. There was a teleportation portal in the middle. There were a few guards on both sides of the portal. One was an overlord and the other was a king. Kill? Sandalwood's battle sword slashed towards the guards. The guards' faces changed. They didn't expect to be discovered so quickly. They could only fight with their weapons. Chapter 1163. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel. The guards were pushed back by Sandalwood, giving Night Sorrow a chance. When Night Sorrow destroyed the teleportation formation, the guards' expressions changed. We don't have a chance. He's escaped. I'll hold him back. You guys kill that one. He's the key. The Sovereign Lord saw that the teleportation formation was destroyed and shouted, then pounced on Sandalwood. At this moment, Night Sorrow used the spatial ren to charge upwards. He could not see the cultivation levels of the guards. What else could he do other than run? All of you must die. Sandalwood waved his battle saber and slashed at Night Sorrow's back. He was covering for Night Sorrow. He could not stop all of them, so he could only stop most of them. Night Sorrow came out of the ground, turned around and used the ultimate kill. Killing one is enough. King, who had dodged Sandalwood's attack and caught up to Night Sorrow, swung his sword. The difference between their cultivation levels was too great. This man's sword had forced Night Sorrow back. If it weren't for the spatial shockwave behind Night Sorrow's heavenly desolation absolute kill, he would have been severely injured. Brothers, go. Sensing the intense energy waves, Achio and the rest immediately formed a battle formation to stop King from attacking Night Sorrow. Achio and the rest were not King's match. However, this King's target was Night Sorrow and did not attack Achio and the rest. Therefore, Achio and the rest were able to block him. The ground in the distance was shaking violently. The battle was still going on. Just as Yi Shang and the others were being suppressed by this sovereign king whose cultivation was unknown, Wei Wei appeared. She had originally come back to ask Yi Shang to release the death trap array, but when she saw the situation she was instantly enraged. She waved her battle saber and suppressed this sovereign king. After a few slashes she killed this sovereign king. At this moment, Sandalwood rushed out of the ground with his saber in hand. Junior brother, are you all right? Don't worry, I was right. They have a backup teleportation array, Night Sorrow said. Commander, what's going on? Wei Wei asked. I was worried that other than the teleportation array in the middle of the stronghold, there were other hidden teleportation arrays as well. I didn't have the time to conduct a large-scale search. Senior apprentice brother and I walked around the commander's manor and discovered a hidden teleportation array. Now, the hidden teleportation array has been destroyed. Night Sorrow let out a sigh of relief. If they hadn't discovered the hidden teleportation array, it would have been a huge problem. Fortunately, junior brother, you are fine. If something happened to you, how am I going to explain it to Master? Sandalwood was a little angry. The opponent had really caught Night Sorrow and tried to kill him. What Sandalwood and Night Sorrow didn't know was that after Chiwa returned, he had begun his counterattack. At this moment, he was mobilizing his men and had even instructed them to pay attention to a person called Night Sorrow. Therefore, the people guarding the teleportation array killed Night Sorrow as soon as they saw him. Commander, it's like this. We no longer have anyone who can escape from the Death Trap array. Therefore, I came to ask you to release the Death Trap array and finish them off, Weiwei said. Alright, I'll release the array. It's better to finish them off as soon as possible. Night Sorrow nodded. Night Sorrow went to release the array and Sandalwood followed. He didn't dare to leave Night Sorrow's side. If an expert appeared, it would be troublesome. He didn't want the same thing to happen again. After that, Night Sorrow released the arrays of the two camps. The two armies of the Nine Heavens Legion didn't feel any pressure to kill one army that didn't have much strength left. The Nine Heavens Legion had cages that were specially used to detain prisoners. Night Sorrow had ordered that those who didn't resist were not to be killed. The furious Qilin army went to guard the area sealed off by the fog array. The Yinping army and Dingxiang army went to maintain the peace of Heaven Tiger Pass. The other thing was to search for blind spots. Those who didn't wear the insignia of the Nine Heavens Legion were all captured and detained. Look at the original chapter. The Thunderbolt army was to guard the commander's manor and the prisoners. When Night Sorrow and Sandalwood returned to the commander's manor, they saw the Qing Emperor standing in the main hall. Summer City and Shendaozi were standing to the side. Very good. The Qing Emperor's officials will arrive soon. I'll go set up the array. The impregnable pass has to face impregnable passes on both sides. The Qing Emperor nodded to Night Sorrow and left with Shendaozi. Your Highness, someone just reported that you were attacked. Are you all right? Summer City asked Night Sorrow. With senior brother here, I'll be fine. Night Sorrow smiled. Soon, someone came to the commander's manor to report that the Qing Emperor's army and the Ministry of Works had sent people over. Night Sorrow arrived near the teleportation array. Your Highness, your subordinate Lin Hui from the Ministry of Works has been ordered to bring people here. His Majesty has ordered us to follow your Highness's orders. Lin Hui bowed. Your subordinate Tan Lin is now at your Highness's disposal. Tan Lin from the Ministry of Works had arrived. Sirs, please make the preparations. Deliver the materials and arrange for the workers. After that, go to the fog array to survey the terrain. Then draw up the defensive blueprints. Night Sorrow said. After giving his instructions, Yi Shang returned to the commander's office. Now, he had to deal with a problem, which was how to deal with these captives. Senior brother, I would like to ask, how do we deal with the prisoners in the past? Night Sorrow asked Sandalwood. It's simple. You either submit or kill them. There is no third option. Sandalwood said. No, there are so many of them. If we kill them if they don't submit, how many people will we have to kill? Night Sorrow shook his head and refused. He didn't want to break up other people's families because of him. The elderly would lose their children and the young would lose their father's love. Don't kill them? Let them go? Then no one will be afraid of your Nine Heavens army. They won't feel pressured to fight you. Soldiers don't kill. This won't work. Sandalwood looked at Night Sorrow and said, Senior brother, I don't want to do things against my will. However, I won't harm the interests of the Qing Emperor's dynasty and Nine Heavens army. Night Sorrow sighed. Okay, think about it. Don't feel too pressured. If you don't want to do it, I will do it. Sandalwood said. Night Sorrow smiled at Sandalwood. He knew that this was his senior brother. He was willing to take on anything for him. Everything in Heaven Tiger Pass was proceeding in an orderly manner. Night Sorrow was still studying the blueprints of Heaven Tiger Pass. In the future, this would be the base of the Nine Heavens army. There were some problems that needed to be solved. Night Sorrow had already approved the blueprints from the Ministry of Works and the military department. The craftsmen had already begun construction on the other side of Heaven Tiger Pass. After 7 days, the Qing Emperor returned. The formation is complete. It is called the Great Emperor's Heaven Sealing Formation. It has the same effect as the Heaven Sealing Formation over there. This is a passageway formation plate. In other words, you need to activate the formation plate to open a path. If you want to go out and fight, you can go out and fight. Without the formation plate, you can't enter or leave. The Qing Emperor handed a formation plate to Night Sorrow. Thank you, Master. Night Sorrow took the formation plate and bowed to the Qing Emperor. As for the heaven sealing formation, I will also take care of it. I will make it so that only those with the passageway formation plate can control it. Otherwise, it will be the heaven sealing formation of our Qing Emperor's dynasty. The Qing Emperor said. Chapter 1164. Genius 1 second remember for you to read. What's wrong? Qing Emperor asked. Master, it's my fault. I don't have a good idea on how to deal with the captives. Knight Sorrow said. I believe you can handle it well. I won't ask. Qing Supreme the Arch nodded. He had just heard Sandalwood's words and knew that Yi Shang would not face such a problem again. Shock. It was a real shock. The Azure Emperor dynasty was shaken. The Nine Heaven Legion, under the leadership of the new commander, His Highness Yi Shang, used only one day to take down the famous Heaven Tiger Pass in the world of Samsara. After the Heaven Tiger Pass was built in the Crimson Emperor dynasty, it had not changed owners for countless years. Now it was the Heaven Tiger Pass of the Azure Emperor dynasty. In Qinglin Palace, Qinglin was dispirited and his eyes were cold. Qinghuan sat beside him and didn't say anything. They didn't expect Knight Sorrow to really do it. He took down Heaven Tiger Pass in such a short time with the smallest price. The military department reported that less than 50 people died. This was less than 1% of the total number of casualties. This was a loss-free war. We lost. Qinglin took a sip of wine and said, Brother, we just lost. Sandalwood doesn't want to lead the Legion anymore. How long can he be powerful? We could hold on until Sandalwood fell. We can also hold on until he falls. Our Qinghuan Legion is not weaker than him. His cultivation is still low. This is a shortcoming. Qinghuan said. I'll hold on until he dies. Qinglin cursed. Qing Emperor and Shen Daozi, who were studying and dealing with the Heaven Lock formation, were chatting. It's been less than a year. Yi Shang has only been in our Azure the Arch Empire for less than a year, and he has changed so much. Are my sons and daughters really stupid? No. Qing Emperor looked at Shen Daozi and said. The Heaven Lock formation was not easy to deal with. It was a natural formation and had been dealt with by the masters of the Red Emperor's kingdom. Now the Qing Emperor had to refine and change it slowly. The key is that he has the support of Sandalwood. Your Majesty's love, Sandalwood's assistance, and his own strength led to this outcome, Shen Daozi said. That's the main point. If he can get Sandalwood's support, why can't Qinglin, Qinghuan, and the other princes do the same? It's human nature. Knight Sorrow didn't want my only senior brother to be helpless in the dark dungeon, so he tried to help him. However, my other children couldn't wait to step on Sandalwood again, so the result was different, said the Qing Emperor. Anyone with great virtue must have a heart that ordinary people find difficult to possess. Knight Sorrow has such a heart, and besides, he has never thought about fighting for anything. He is actually someone who cares about his own strength, which is very similar to His Majesty, Shen Daozi said. The status that comes with one's own strength is the most stable. He became the king of time and space when he was a little over 100 years old. Slowly settling down, his strength will not be a problem, and he has a lot of space, said the Qing Emperor as he studied the Heaven Lock formation. He is a little over 100 years old, and this achievement shows that he is very talented. Now that he is the commander of the army, his achievements will be great. He can go to the Samsara Palace whenever he wants. It would be strange if his cultivation did not improve quickly, Shen Daozi said with a smile. Ah, you see it very clearly. Now I want to see how he deals with the captives. This is the best time to see human nature, said the Qing Emperor. Your Majesty, you have to go back and do work. Don't forget that you promised him a monarch-level armor, said Shen Daozi. The original Q version are, it doesn't matter. It is worth it to have such a disciple. The Qing Emperor smiled. He was in a very good mood. Master and disciple were like father and son. Knight Sorrow was sensible and principled. The Qing Emperor admired him very much. Even if his son lost a battle, he was still happy. Knight Sorrow also started to get busy. In the impregnable pass built by the Emperor Heaven Lock formation that the Qing Emperor had set up, he set up some trap and kill formations and illusionary formations. Now, his formation skills were very high because the clone in the Heaven Lock Hall had been deducing and studying formations. Then, Knight Sorrow made adjustments to the defense of some of the strongholds in the pass. After refining the Heaven Lock formation, the original entrance and exit was closed, and the new entrance and exit was made. When the Qing Emperor and Shen Daozi finished refining the formation plate, they went to see the other side of the Heaven Tiger Pass. They noticed the formation that Knight Sorrow had set up. Using the Emperor's Heaven Sealing formation and the impregnable pass as the foundation, You also set up a confinement killing formation and an illusory killing formation with only one entrance. Very good. The formation is also quite decent. Seeing the formation that Yi Shang had set up, the Azure Emperor nodded in satisfaction. Why don't you teach him some of my divination techniques? Xian Daozi said. If he walks the path of wisdom and support, he can become a great talent. Hold it right there, the Qing Emperor said, glaring at Xian Daozi. You're not allowed to bring that up again. You're my old friend, so I won't bring it up again. Next time if anyone dares to bring it up again, I'll kill them. Yes, sir. Xian Daozi said, bowing slightly. Remember, the Qing Emperor said. He needs to achieve great things. Support cultivation is fine, but don't touch the heretical path. Your subordinate understands, Xian Daozi said, a bit taken aback. He had never imagined that the Qing Emperor would react so strongly. You don't understand, the Qing Emperor said. You'll understand in the future. Xian Daozi nodded. He understood that Night Sorrow still had other things he didn't know about. The Qing Emperor had high hopes for Night Sorrow, otherwise he wouldn't have reacted so strongly. Everyone in the Red Emperor's nation was in a state of panic. Even the Red Emperor, who hadn't shown his face for a long time, had appeared. He was tall and slender and wore a red robe and a violet gold crown. He stood in the middle of the Red Emperor's palace. The Red Emperor looked like a young man, perhaps in his 20s. However, his face radiated a murderous aura. Father, Chiwa said, stepping forward, it was my fault. Please punish me. Tell me, how did you lose Heaven Tiger Pass? The Red Emperor asked. Chiwa bowed and said, I don't know. I don't know how someone managed to sneak in through the Heaven Tiger Pass. Then they set up a concealment array in Heaven Tiger Pass and teleported their army in. They then used the array to trap and kill my army. I was unable to fight back. Also, the secret teleportation array was discovered and destroyed, and a large array appeared at the entrance to the pass. So our counterattack was delayed. Heaven Tiger Pass, which has been defended for countless years, was lost just like that. They were able to sneak in without anyone noticing and set up teleportation arrays and other arrays. They are quite capable. The Red Emperor waved his hand, indicating for Chiwa to leave. Your Majesty, the most important thing now is to quickly take back the Heavenly Tiger Pass. The Heavenly Tiger Pass is a natural defense against the Azure Imperial Dynasty. Against us, they have no way to defend themselves. We can forcefully take it back. An old man stood out and said, Is the Qing Emperor an idiot? The moment Heaven Tiger Pass was lost and the teleportation array was destroyed, Heaven Tiger Pass no longer belonged to us. If we want to take it back, we need to think carefully before we can do it. Does the Green Chilan army have the ability to do that now? The Red Emperor said with narrowed eyes. Chapter 1165. Genius 1 second remember for you to read. Hasn't Nine Heavens army been disbanded for 5 million years? Red Emperor looked at Chiwa with suspicion. It's Nine Heavens army. Sandalwood has appeared too, Jiang Jing said. To think that the mad demon Sandalwood could reappear. It seems like the luck of the Azure Imperial Dynasty has changed. Back then, when we went to the Nine Regions world to look for the person of virtue, we were at a disadvantage. The Crimson Emperor thought for a moment before saying, Father, the person leading Nine Heavens army is Night Sorrow, who came from Nine Zones world. Chiwa looked at Chido. Chido hadn't done his job well, which had led to the current situation. This person is very capable. Since we can't use him, we have to kill him as soon as possible. Pass down my order. Anyone who can kill Night Sorrow will be rewarded with 1 million contribution points. The Crimson Emperor immediately gave out an order. Chiwa, you will be the commander of Flying Tiger Army. You will be responsible for locking down Sky Tiger Pass. Chido, you will be responsible for building another army. Red Emperor gave another order. The Red Emperor's dynasty's power structure was different from that of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. In the Red Emperor's dynasty, the Red Emperor's princes and grandsons were in charge. This was mainly because the princes of the Red Emperor were very strong, and 2 of them were very outstanding. Chiwa, I won't disappoint you again. 8th brother, I'm sorry. Chiwa bowed to Red Emperor and then he bowed to another man. It was Red Emperor's 8th son, Chido. He was also the commander of Flying Tiger Army. 4th Imperial brother is thinking too much. This time, 4th Imperial brother was plotted against, and Imperial brother's heart is also uncomfortable. What can I do for 4th Imperial brother is reasonable. Chi Yin shook his head. Okay, that's all for now. In addition, everyone think of a plan to take back the Heavenly Tiger Pass. If we don't take it back, we will become the laughing stock of the Red Emperor's country in the world of samsara. Also, Chiwa, take this armor and refine it. After saying this, the Red Emperor threw an armor to Chiwa and disappeared from the main hall. Chiwa's clone had been destroyed, and now it was his main body that was handling matters. He had bestowed the armor upon Chiwa, and the Red Emperor was worried that his son would perish. Chiwa's prestige among the many princes of the Red Emperor was very high, second only to the Crown Prince. His power was only lower than the Crown Prince, and Chidu controlled the appointment and removal of officials in the court and had great power. If other princes went to the world of 9 domains and caused such a big mess, the Red Emperor might deal with it. However, because it was Chidu, the Red Emperor did not mention anything about it. The construction of the Heavenly Tiger Pass was a big project that could not be completed in 10 days or half a month. However, with the Emperor's heaven sealing formation, the defense was very strong. Knight Sorrow was busy for the first few days. After a few days he relaxed and began to think about the problem, which was how to deal with the captives. He had captured thousands of captives, and among them there were hundreds of king. After thinking for a long time, Knight Sorrow still could not think of a good way to deal with them. Kill. He did not want to kill them. If he let them go, it would be like letting a tiger return to the mountain. While thinking, Knight Sorrow arrived at the martial arts practice field where the captives were kept. "Greetings, Commander." Qin Leitang, who was guarding the captives, led his subordinates and bowed to Knight Sorrow. "Brothers, you have worked hard during this period of time. It's time to deal with them." Knight Sorrow sighed and said, "No. Commander Knight Sorrow, they're soldiers. They're just following orders and fighting. They haven't committed any crimes. As long as Commander releases my soldiers, I'm willing to submit. I'm willing to do anything for your highness." An old man got down on one knee and cupped his hands towards Knight Sorrow. "Your highness, he is the 7 deadly general." Nu Lin and his subordinates attacked together to subdue him. Those two are also generals. The other general was killed by General Nu Lin. Qin Leitang pointed to the other 2 large meteorite metal cages. In the 2 meteorite metal cages, there were 2 people who were being treated specially. They were tied with meteorite metal chains. "Commander Knight Sorrow, these are thousands of hot-blooded soldiers. They are innocent. You cannot kill soldiers who do not have the ability to resist. If you let them go, we will do what the 7 deadly generals said and be loyal to you." The 2 men with meteorite metal chains all over their bodies said, "If that is the case, I have another choice. The 3 of you will swear allegiance to the Heavenly Tao unconditionally. The 3 of you will swear to the Heavenly Tao that you will not harm the interests of the Qing Emperor's empire. When you return, you will shed your armor and serve the people. You will not serve the Red Emperor's empire. Then you may leave." Knight Sorrow looked at the group of captives and said, "Most Zinel chapter 8 previous piece, all right. A man keeps his word. I, 7 deadly general, will recognize Knight Sorrow as my master from today onwards. I will not betray you. Those who disobey will be struck by lightning." The burly 7 deadly general with a face full of beard swore. The other 2 generals, Ji Feng and Qi Wang, swore as well. "To be able to give up everything for your brothers, the 3 of you are worthy of respect. No one has the right to humiliate you. Uncle Summer City, send the 3 of them to the other armies aside from the angry Chilan army. Tell the 3 generals that under my orders, the 3 of them will be deputy generals. When they are familiar with each other, they will be promoted to deputy generals," Knight Sorrow said to Summer City. "Understood." Summer City was very excited because Knight Sorrow had easily increased the strength of the 9 Heavens army. General Lei Ting arranged for them to swear the Heavenly Tao oath. "Just as I said, those who do not swear will still be enemies in the future. Kill them immediately. Those who swear the oath will be released and treated with kindness." Knight Sorrow said to Qin Lei Ting, "Commander." 7 deadly general was a little anxious when Knight Sorrow did not say to release the captives. "Let me make the arrangements first." Knight Sorrow looked at 7 deadly general. "The Red Emperor's kingdom. If you do not go, inform the Qing Emperor's officials. Tell them that I want the families of 7 deadly general Ji Feng and Qi Wang. Tell them to send their families to the Sky Tiger Pass. I will release a few thousand soldiers of the Sky Tiger army." Knight Sorrow said to Kai Feng again, "Thank you, Commander." 7 deadly general and the other 2 bowed to Knight Sorrow. "Today is my fault. No matter what the result is, I will personally send you away within a month. I hope you can live a peaceful life with your wives and children by your side. From now on, you will have nothing to do with the war," Knight Sorrow said to the thousands of captives in the meteorite metal cages. "Thank you, Commander." The captives who had seen no hope, bowed. War is inevitable. This is all I can do. Night Sorrow turned and left. Thank you, Commander. Seven Deadly General and the other two kneeled again because Night Sorrow had done everything he could for them. Get up. How should I put it? There are some things you should not know. Summer City shook his head. He was very emotional. How should I address you? You are following the commander. If you have anything to say, please say it. Seven Deadly General said to Summer City. All right, then I'll take the liberty of speaking out of turn this time. Actually, His Highness didn't intend to kill anyone when he came this time. He said that it was time to solve the problem. He wanted you to swear a heavenly oath and leave. Who knew that you three would be so agitated? Summer City waved his hand to block the view of the other captives and said to Seven Deadly General and the other two. He felt that the three of them were quite pitiful. Seven Deadly General Ji Feng and Qi Wang were stunned. They did not expect this at all. So, the commander said that today was his fault. However, he was very considerate. You have nothing to regret, Qin Leitang said. If they don't compromise, then who would be willing to continue fighting for the Crimson Emperor Kingdom? Since senior brother has said so, it seems like this matter will succeed. Yi Shang's heart was also more certain. Junior brother, Master went to deal with the Heaven Lock formation again. It's already done, but he doesn't want any flaws. Once he's done, I'll go back with him and serve him for a while. With Elder Xia by your side, I'll be at ease, Sandalwood said to Night Sorrow. After seeing Night Sorrow's abilities for the past few days, Sandalwood was relieved. Night Sorrow had the ability to lead the Nine Heavens army. As for who wanted to kill Night Sorrow, Summer City wouldn't be easy to deal with. That's good. Senior brother, you should relax. There are many beautiful things in the world waiting for you to discover. Or maybe you can find a wife for me, Night Sorrow said with a smile. I will, haha. Sandalwood said with a smile. Sandalwood, you've changed a lot. The Qing Emperor and Shen Daozi walked in from outside. Uncle Shen Daozi, tell me about my changes. Sandalwood bowed to the Qing Emperor and said, I can't say for sure. The strongest change is that I've become more emotional. I'm not like before who only knew how to kill. Now I feel more human. Shen Daozi spoke about his feelings. The Qing Emperor nodded. This was the biggest change for Sandalwood. Thereafter, the Azure Supreme the Arch gave Yi Shang an array disc. It was an array disc used to seal and open the Heaven Lock array. The Heaven Tiger Pass can be said to be impregnable now. It will be very difficult to force your way in. Just be careful of any tricks. I will return now. I understand. Night Sorrow put away the disc array and nodded. Junior brother, I'll go back with Master. Be careful. Sandalwood reminded Night Sorrow. It's good that you're going back. Night Sorrow, didn't I give you a team of Qing Emperor's guards? They'll be your personal guards. You can bring them with you wherever you go. Don't be affected by what happened last time. They were just messing around. The Qing Emperor said. The Qing Emperor had never given anyone a team of Qing Emperor's guards. Neither Qing Lin nor Qing Wan were qualified. Now, because Night Sorrow wasn't strong enough, the Qing Emperor was afraid that he would be assassinated. Night Sorrow nodded and sent the Qing Emperor, Shen Daozi, and Sandalwood to the teleportation array. After returning to the Azure Sky Pavilion, the Qing Emperor sat in the main seat and tapped his finger on the table. After so many years, I've finally gotten my revenge. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, there's also something that will make revered Master feel even better. Junior brother somehow managed to subdue the three generals of the Crimson Emperor Kingdom. I'm afraid the Crimson Emperor will feel as disgusted as if he had just eaten a fly. He'll have to eat it, said Jean Tan. Subdued three generals? The generals are all sovereigns. How can it be so easy to subdue them? The Qing Emperor looked at Sandalwood in surprise. It's difficult to subdue one sovereign, but junior brother has subdued three at once. He didn't even think about it. It's like this. Sandalwood explained the situation to the Qing Emperor and Shen Daozi. Ah, he's so talented. He's so lucky. Those three are unlucky. This time, the Red Emperor has no choice but to give up the families of the three generals. Of course, if he's determined to be shameless, there's nothing he can do about it. The Qing Emperor said. Your Majesty, the officials of the Qing Emperor's palace have made two preparations. The first is to find the families of the three generals without going through the Red Emperor's empire's higher-ups. If they find them, they'll find a place to hide them and protect them. If they can't find them, they'll go through the officials of the Red Emperor's empire. The secret guard in charge of monitoring the Qing Emperor's palace stood up and reported. Not bad. They've done it well. The Qing Emperor nodded in satisfaction. It wasn't easy for Knight Sorrow to be at the forefront. He didn't want the officials of the Qing Emperor's palace to fail. So this time the Red Emperor will have a hard time. He's embarrassed, but he still has to endure it. Sandalwood handed the Qing Emperor a cup of tea. That's right. The Qing Emperor nodded and took a sip of tea. After drinking, the Qing Emperor looked at Sandalwood and said, "You have to learn how to make tea. What kind of nonsense is this? The way of tea is a good way to calm your mind. If you can't learn how to make tea, don't leave the Azure Sky Pavilion." Sandalwood didn't say anything. She'd seen Knight Sorrow make tea a few times, so she tried it out. "Your Highness Sandalwood, you have to learn. It's impossible to drink it." Xian Daozi took a sip of tea and smiled bitterly. Chapter 1167. Genius 1 second. Remember, I'll bring you an exciting novel. Sandalwood, your junior brother's cultivation is not high enough, but he is very mature in other aspects. Whether it is the way of the people, the way of the people, the way of the heart, the way of the heart, or the way of the body, his attainments are all very high. Not to mention you, even Qing Lin and Qing Wan are not good enough, the Qing Emperor said. Junior brother is very simple. He is not a scheming person. At least he is not a scheming person. Sandalwood did not expect the Qing Emperor to have such an evaluation of Knight Sorrow. He is not scheming. It is because he cultivates the way of the world. It is easy for him to gain the loyalty of his subordinates. It is easy for him to gain the respect and admiration of others. The Qing Emperor corrected Sandalwood's misunderstanding. Xian Daozi, teach Sandalwood the way of tea. When you feel that you can drink it, let's talk again. The Qing Emperor flashed and left. Studying and deciphering the Heaven Lock formation had given him a lot of inspiration. Isn't this torture? Xian Daozi was speechless. He followed the Qing Emperor and was also a person who knew how to enjoy life. He could not imagine tasting Sandalwood's tea. It was no different from testing for poison. While Knight Sorrow was looking at the construction plans in the commander's office, Old Xia went to the 9-story tower and brought the Qing Emperor's guards over. He told them about the Qing Emperor's decree. In the future they did not need to look after the 9-story tower. Their mission was to protect Knight Sorrow, not the 9-story tower. The 4 generals of the 9 Heavens Army and 7 Absolutes also arrived at the commander's office. "Why are you all here?" Knight Sorrow asked. He had asked Nu Lin and the others to come over to study the problem of resources. He did not expect 7 Absolutes and the others to come. "It is like this. Some of my subordinates do not have family to worry about. They do not plan to go back. They want to follow me. The 2 of them are the same. They have some very close subordinates who do not have family to worry about and do not plan to leave." 7 Absolutes bowed and reported. "That's a good thing. Do they have any requests?" Knight Sorrow stood up and asked. "There is one condition. They are willing to risk their lives for the commander, but they are not willing to fight against the Red Emperor's nation. In other words, apart from the war against the Red Emperor's nation, they are willing to risk their lives," 7 Absolutes said. "That's understandable and acceptable. Let's organize these people into a temporary army and treat them the same as the other 4 armies. Then I'll think of a better way." Knight Sorrow nodded. "Thank you, Commander." 7 Absolutes, Gale and Qi Wang bowed to Knight Sorrow. Nu Lin, I called the 4 of you here to solve the problem of resource management. The Sky Tiger Pass is going to be a huge mess. You have to be responsible for everything. The resource warehouse is in the commander's office. Nu Lin, you will be responsible for the allocation and use of resources. And Ping, you will be responsible for the accounts. Lei Ting, you will be responsible for auditing the accounts. After you have checked the resources in the warehouse, you can allocate and use them. The temporary army formed by 7 Absolutes will also receive the same treatment," Knight Sorrow said. "Yes." Nu Lin and the others bowed and accepted the order. "Also, I used nearly 4,000 Saint Spirit Stones to set up the formation. You have to return them to me. Also, you can decide whether the resources will be turned over to the Empire's treasury or only a portion of it." Knight Sorrow spoke again. "The Empire has a clear rule. Military merits are military merits. However, in war, half of the resources obtained from conquering cities must be turned over to the Empire's treasury," Nu Lin said. That's too much. The Sky Tiger Pass still needs to be built. How can we have so much to turn over? If we turn over so much, all of us will have nothing to eat. When we turn over the resources, I will write a statement and give you 30%, Knight Sorrow said. All right. Nu Lin smiled and nodded. This was because Night Sorrow and Sandalwood were the same. They had to live well with their brothers before anything else. In the past, the Nine Heavens Legion turned over 33% of the resources, which was 1/3. Night Sorrow was even more ruthless than Sandalwood. Commander Qing Lin and Qing Wan are preparing to take advantage of His Highness. Isn't this giving them a chance? Qin Leitang was still a little worried. What does it have to do with them? They can do whatever they want. If they want to take advantage of me, they can do whatever they want. I have to turn over 30%. How can they get 10% in 5 million years? It's settled then. Night Sorrow waved his hand. He wasn't afraid of this. The generals all laughed. They liked Yishang's temperament. Soldiers were afraid of following a commander until their bones went soft. If they were afraid of this and that, then they wouldn't be able to do anything. Also, when I'm not around, Nu Lin, you will be in charge of everything in the Nine Heavens Legion. You can even go to war. Now, if 2 of the 4 generals object, your plan will have to be put on hold and reported to me, Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin. Nu Lin and the others bowed and accepted the order. There is something else. I have set up many arrays around the 4 camps. There are Holy Spirit stones underground. If the soldiers have nothing to do, dig them out and put them in the storage. From now on, 1 general will be on duty at the commander's residence. 7 absolutes, you 5 will take turns. No one can be absent, Night Sorrow said again. He waved his hand and sent them away. After leaving the commander's residence, Nu Lin called them to the Nu Lin Army's camp for a drink. It feels good. I've been holding back for so many years. Now that I am with His Highness Night Sorrow, I don't have to hold back anymore. Nu Lin sighed. The commander looks weak, but he has a domineering aura in his bones. You can't judge a person by his appearance. Wei Wei was a little touched. It's just that his cultivation is a little weak, and Ning said, but her voice was a little soft. What do you know? Do you know how old the commander is? He is not even 120 years old. King is not even 120 years old and has 2 high-level attributes. How can he be weak? When you are 120 years old, you might still be trying to smooth things over. Qin Leitang interrupted and Ning. So young? Wei Wei was a little stunned. You haven't seen his information, but I have. Almost all the records are legends. He is a realm lord. Do you understand? His main body is immortal in his own world. Who can do that? Even His Majesty can't do that. Qin Leitang said. He is still a realm lord? Nu Lin muttered as he rubbed his beard. Do you know how the commander came to the world of reincarnation? It was Shen Daozi who divined that a cultivator with a body of merit would appear in the 9 regions world. His Majesty sent Qing Wan to the 9 regions world to bring the commander back. Qing Wan left the commander in the Thunder Army. Qin Leitang took a sip of wine and said, So you're saying that the commander-in-chief was once a pawn under you? Wei Wei's interest was piqued. Dog fart pawn. After the commander arrived at the Thunderbolt Army, he started the challenge. You all know about the Massacre God territory. He started the challenge at the Massacre God territory. The strongest squad leader, Achio, and the strongest squad leader, Wuxia, were both taken down. You guys know Wuxia. His cultivation is slow, but his battle prowess is strong. 10 years ago he also became a 5-star sovereign king. However, he was still defeated by the commander. At that time he was in the Thunderbolt Army, and the commander was a 2-star sovereign king deputy commander. Qin Leitang explained. Chapter 1168. In other words, although the commander is a 2-star king, he has the power of a mid-level king? And Ning asked. That's right. That was before I took His Majesty as my master. His Majesty has many secret techniques. Now, the combat power of the commander will only be stronger than before, no weaker than before. Also, this is just a clone of His Majesty, Qin Leitang said. This is really strong. Actually, it is enough that the commander is a good leader. His arrangement today shows that he trusts us enough. He will give us enough space, Wei Wei said. 7 Ju, now that you are following the commander, we are all brothers. In the future there will be no distinction between us. The commander talked about the 4 of us today. If more than 2 of us object, then the plan will be put on hold. I will change it here. The 5 of us, if we have a plan in the future, we will follow the majority. If we really can't, then we will report to the commander, Nu Lin said. General Nu Lin, is this appropriate? 7 Ju stood up and asked. It is. I will take responsibility if anything happens. Nu Lin reached out and pulled 7 Ju to sit down. He also poured wine for Ji Feng and Qi Wang. This time the Nine Heavens army did not give you a chance to fight fair and square. But there is no choice because the commander's strategy has reached this stage. No one can say that the victory was unfair. No one can say that the victory was unfair. In a battle between armies, the commander's strategy and tactical arrangements are the most important. Next is the combat power of the army. The commander of the Sky Tiger Army, Chiwa, is very strong, but this time there was no chance at all. So the Sky Tiger Army lost. This should be a classic battle, Chiwang said. Here, brothers, I wish you all a happy life in the Nine Heavens army. Nu Lin raised his wine glass. Night Sorrow also stretched. Things were going well, so there was nothing for him to do. After that, Night Sorrow patrolled the Sky Tiger Pass, but Summer City and Fei Xiu were following him. Night Sorrow could not do without them. Summer City said that unless Night Sorrow was with his wife, she would not leave his side. Fei Xiu also had the same intention. This made Night Sorrow feel helpless. Inside the Tianhu Pass, Night Sorrow patrolled the area. Seeing that everything was normal, he wanted to return to the 9 grand floors to see his family and wife. However, he couldn't leave here. High-grade teleportation stones are hard to come by. Why don't we set up a teleportation formation here and connect it to Qing Emperor City and the 9 stories tower? That would be much more convenient. Night Sorrow said. He was really worried about his family because Sikong Chuyu and Aoi were both pregnant. Ask the people from the Ministry of Works. It's impossible that they don't have the materials. If His Highness has a request, they have to deal with it, said the head of Summer City. Night Sorrow then found Lin Hui, the official from the Ministry of Works who was still building the defense of the impregnable pass. We have a teleportation stone in Dynasty's treasury. I'll arrange it right away. Where do you plan to set it up, Your Highness? Lin Hui agreed to Night Sorrow's request immediately. It's the 9 stories tower. The 9 stories tower occupies a large area and there's still a lot of empty space behind it. We'll build it in the future for the families of the 9 Heavens army to live in, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Okay. The Ministry of Works is also responsible for the construction of the houses for the families of the soldiers. When the time comes, we'll take care of it for Your Highness. Lin Hui's attitude was very good. Out of respect, Night Sorrow brought the 9 Heavens army this time to show off for the Qing Emperor dynasty. Chapter 1. Part 1. Everything was proceeding in an orderly manner. Nu Lin brought people and handed over the resources. The accounts were not fake. Along with the account of the resources handed over, there was also a letter from Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow explained that the 9 Heavens army needed resources. The construction of the Tianhu Pass also needed resources, so they handed over 30%. Even though it was only 30%, it still amounted to 200,000 Saint crystals. There was also a large number of cultivation-aiding pills and some materials, which were worth 500,000 Saint crystals. This was the supreme world. In the profound heaven world, the Tiannan dynasty's Saint crystals were worth a few hundred. In the Qing Emperor dynasty, it was worth tens of thousands. The Ministry of Works also built the teleportation array to the 9 stories tower. However, Night Sorrow only went back to take a look before returning to the Tianhu Pass. The construction of the Tianhu Pass and the Heaven Locking Array on both sides of the Tianhu Pass were not something that could be done in a day or two. Night Sorrow also went to the Heaven Locking Array and the Heaven Locking Array on both sides of the Tianhu Pass. He tried to travel through space but he found that it was impossible. After knowing how Night Sorrow entered, the Qing Emperor dynasty naturally took precautions. When he set up the array, he strengthened the space and suppressed the turbulence in space. Night Sorrow did not return, but the situation in the Qing Emperor dynasty was surging. Some things gradually emerged and all of them were aimed at Night Sorrow. They were all impeaching Night Sorrow. It was Qing Lin and Qing Wan who organized the other princes and many officials to impeach Night Sorrow. The reason was that Night Sorrow formed a clique for personal gain, embezzled resources, and wanted to occupy the Tianhu Pass to establish his own kingdom. Night Sorrow did not know about these things, but it caused a stir in the Qing Emperor dynasty. The Shadow Guards had already reported it to the Qing Emperor. They are very good at scheming. The Qing Emperor dynasty did not have any expression on his face after hearing the report. This is too unreliable. Zhan Tan was a little angry, and the hand that was brewing tea trembled. They are not stable. Let's do it again. Xian Daozi said. Back then, no one impeached you because you had accumulated enough power. Night Sorrow has only been with me for a short time, so they naturally want to try. The Qing Emperor dynasty looked at Zhan Tan and said. He knew that Zhan Tan was a little worried about Night Sorrow. Isn't this slandering? forming a clique for personal gain, embezzling resources, establishing his own kingdom. What is all this? Jean Tan said. It is slandering. Let's see how Knight Sorrow deals with it. This is also a test for him. The Qing Emperor dynasty said. Knight Sorrow cultivated in the Tian who pass every day. When he had nothing to do, he would read the letter that the Qing Emperor dynasty had taught him. One day when Knight Sorrow was reading the letter, someone from the Qing Emperor dynasty came. It was the Qing Emperor dynasty who wanted him to go back to the Qing Emperor dynasty. Knight Sorrow was a little confused. He did not understand why the Qing Emperor dynasty wanted him. He thought it should be nothing because the Tianhu Pass was a place that had to be managed. There was no way the Nine Heavens army could be mobilized. As for other arrangements, it was also unlikely. Your Highness, it might be something troublesome. If the Qing Emperor dynasty wanted to see you personally, it would be the Qing Emperor dynasty's guard, not some official from the Qing Emperor dynasty's palace. It seems like it is an official matter. Perhaps someone in the government is causing trouble for your Highness. Perhaps it is because your Highness handed over 30% of the resources. Perhaps someone is holding on to it. Summer City understood. Just 30%. Let's see what they can do. Knight Sorrow was not afraid of this at all. He could lead the Nine Heavens army to victory, but Qing Lin and Qing Yuan could not. He wanted to see what they could do to him. Everything he did was for the benefit of the Qing Emperor dynasty and the stability of the Nine Heavens army. When Knight Sorrow and Summer City arrived at the Qing Emperor dynasty's palace, Knight Sorrow smiled when he saw the situation in the main hall. At this time, in the main hall of the Qing Emperor dynasty's palace, many officials stood on both sides. There were around 200 people. The Qing Emperor sat in the main seat. Xian Daozi and Zhan Tan stood diagonally behind him. Qing Lin and Qing Yuan stood at the bottom of the stairs. In the middle of the main hall, Knight Sorrow tidied his robe and bowed to the Qing Emperor. Chapter 1169. Greetings, Master. Knight Sorrow bowed to Qing Emperor. Rise. Do you know why I called you here today? Qing Emperor asked. Someone must be looking for trouble with me. Since Master doesn't look for trouble with me, I don't care about the others. Knight Sorrow looked around and said. How do you know that I'm not looking for trouble with you? Qing Emperor was stunned when he heard what Knight Sorrow said. Because Master knows that everything I've done is for the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Master will only support me and won't make things difficult for me, Knight Sorrow said casually without any pressure. All right. Stand aside. Knight Sorrow, I've called you back. You can speak now if you have something to say. Qing Emperor nodded to Knight Sorrow. Look at the original chapter/section/tick at that moment. An official came out with an account book. The Nine Heavens army seized 670,000 Saint crystals from the battle at Heaven Tiger Pass. There are also a number of elixirs and materials for refining elixirs and weapons. However, Commander Knight, you only handed in 30%. Did you take the rest? The dynasty requires us to hand in half of the resources we got from the war. That's the law. You've formed a clique for personal gain, taken bribes, and perverted the law. Are you trying to build your own kingdom using Heaven Tiger Pass? That's serious? May I ask what your position is? What's your surname? What's your name? Knight Sorrow asked. My name is Qing Yuan. I'm an inspector of the dynasty. Is what I said true? Qing Yuan, the official with the account book, asked. Who allowed you to say that? Knight Sorrow asked Qing Yuan, but he was looking at Qing Lin and Qing Yuan. I'm an inspector. Can't I ask about what you've done? Qing Yuan asked. You're an inspector. You should behave yourself. How can you continue to be an inspector if you talk nonsense? Knight Sorrow looked at Qing Yuan with pity in his eyes because he was the victim of a power struggle. Why are you afraid of people talking about what you've done? You seized more than 600,000 Saint crystals and handed over 200,000, isn't that a fact? Qing Lin stepped forward and said. Originally, I didn't want to sound harsh, but since you've gone to such extremes, I won't be polite either. The Nine Heavens Legion didn't require any resources from the Empire, and it only took them a month to capture Heaven Tiger Pass. Heaven Tiger Pass belongs to the Empire, so how can it be measured in Saint crystals? What's more, your Green Qilin Corps has stayed in that defensive zone for 5 million years. Have you dug out a single feather from Heaven Tiger Pass? How dare you talk about me handing over 200,000 Saint crystals? Knight Sorrow's voice grew louder and louder as he spoke. How dare you? Qing Lin's expression was extremely ugly. You're Master's son, and I've always respected you. However, when I was working hard for the Empire, you dragged me down and refused to let me go. I despise you. Is it bold to speak the truth? What a joke. Knight Sorrow sneered. Qing Lin, you're His Highness and the commander of the corps. Knight Sorrow is also His Highness and the commander of the corps. No one dares, Qing Emperor, who was sitting in the main seat, said. But you, Knight Sorrow, didn't follow the law and turn over the resources. That is contempt of His Majesty, and is an act of impudence. Another man stepped forward. From his clothing, Knight Sorrow could tell that he was a prince. I'll write a letter to report this matter. Knight Sorrow replied. That's just your side of the story. Now that things have gotten out of hand, what are you saying? Qing Yuan said. Knight Sorrow understood that he didn't know where his letter was now. Using a letter to report this matter might not work. All right. You're saying that I'm corrupt. I haven't even seen the resources in Sky Tiger Pass. They're all taken care of by the Nine Heavens Army. The Nine Heavens Army still owes me 4,000 Saint Spirit Stones for setting up the formation during the war. How am I corrupt? Knight Sorrow looked at Qing Yuan and asked. The Nine Heavens Army is your subordinate. They'll do whatever you want them to do. Aren't you in control of the resources? Qing Lin blamed himself again. You haven't even touched a single feather in 5 million years. You have no right to talk to me. Go away. Knight Sorrow retorted after hearing Qing Lin's words. You. Qing Lin's face turned pale. He wanted to say that Yi Qin was audacious, but Qing Emperor said that no matter what Knight Sorrow said to him, it wasn't audacious. You didn't hand over the resources according to the law. You're defying His Majesty and the laws of the Empire. You took in the people of the Red Emperor's Sky Tiger Pass. Some of them were taken in, and some of them were released unconditionally. You didn't report this to the dynasty. You're forming a clique for personal gain. You have bad intentions. Qing Yuan said. Sky Tiger Pass doesn't need to be managed, and the Nine Heavens Army doesn't need resources? If I don't manage it properly and they fight back, will you bear the responsibility? Knight Sorrow looked at Qing Yuan and said. That's still your own decision to take in the people of Sky Tiger Pass. How do you explain that? Qing Yuan said. Just because I didn't report it? I didn't deal with it properly, okay? Let me ask you, I haven't dealt with it properly yet, okay? Knight Sorrow looked at Qing Yuan and said in a domineering tone. Father, you heard the question just now. You didn't hand over the resources according to the law. You're defying the laws of the Empire. You're defying Father. You took in the people of the Red Emperor's Sky Tiger Pass and didn't report it. This Knight Sorrow is a wolf with wild ambitions. If we let him lead the army and take power, there will be endless trouble in the future. Qing Lin bowed to Qing Emperor. Does anyone have anything else to say? Qing Emperor looked at the people in the hall and asked. Your Majesty, please punish the Nine Heavens Army's commander, Knight Sorrow. He is defying the law and forming a clique for personal gain. A few officials stood out and bowed. Knight Sorrow, let me ask you something. Are you defying the law and forming a clique for personal gain? Qing Emperor's eyes fell on Knight Sorrow. I didn't take a single spirit stone. I left them for Sky Tiger Pass and for the Nine Heavens Army to fight better. As for forming a clique for personal gain, I have my own world. I don't need to be the king of a small kingdom. Knight Sorrow bowed. Actually, I just want to hear what you have to say. Now stand aside. Qing Emperor stood up. Are you satisfied with Knight Sorrow's explanation? Qing Emperor stood up and looked at the people in the hall. No one dared to say anything because no one knew what Qing Emperor meant. Why is no one saying anything? You can't do what he did, but he did it. Are you unhappy? Let me tell you, this world is a world of capable people. Qing Emperor's dynasty is a dynasty of capable people. Is there a problem with handing over less resources? Sky Tiger Pass doesn't need resources? In the future, the Nine Heavens Army will be a special case in Qing Emperor's dynasty. If others don't hand over 50% of their resources, they will be executed. The Nine Heavens Army will hand over 30%. Subduing the soldiers of the Red Emperor's dynasty is also a problem? Then who can subdue a few of them for me to see? Even if you have the ability, you will still be accused of forming a clique for personal gain. Knight Sorrow is the realm lord of the Nine Regions world. He has his own world. Why would he care about a small kingdom? Qing Yuan kneel. Qing Emperor pointed at Qing Yuan and shouted. Chapter 1170. Qing Yuan knelt on the ground immediately. Letter. Who asked you to hide the letter? Who gave you the guts to hide the prince's letter? The Qing Emperor was furious. Qing Yuan knelt on the ground and did not say anything. The resource report was sent together with the letter, and the person who handled it. Do you think I can't find out? Or do you think I don't dare to kill you? The Qing Emperor had a murderous look on his face because Qing Yuan had crossed the line. It was me who hid the letter. Father, please punish me. Qing Yuan admitted. After thinking for a while, he knew that if the Qing Emperor decided to investigate, he would not be able to run away. Oh, who gave you the guts to hide a prince's letter? The Qing Emperor flipped his sleeves and sent Qing Yuan flying. It was my own idea. Qing Yuan got up and said, You don't have the guts. Are you not afraid of death? The Qing Emperor looked at Qing Yuan coldly. I am afraid of death, but I have to bear the consequences of my actions. Qing Yuan looked at Qing Lin and Qing Wan and said, Father, please forgive my brother. At this time, Qing Shan and some other princes stood out. Qing Lin and Qing Wan were the last to stand out, but they did not say anything. How can I forgive him? How do you think I should forgive him? Continue the endless internal strife after he is forgiven? Take him away. The Qing Emperor roared in a low voice. Qing Lin and Qing Wan lowered their heads and did not say anything. They did not dare to say anything. The Qing Emperor was furious. No one could touch him. Just as the Azure the Archguard was about to pull Qing Yuan out, Yi Shang stepped forward and said, Master, can I say something? You want to protect him? You want to protect someone who went against you unscrupulously? The Qing Emperor pointed at Qing Yuan. Master, we all know why he did that. His methods were wrong and he was not righteous. It would also hurt the Qing Emperor's dynasty. However, he did not do anything wrong. He fought for his brother. This reason is enough. I'm willing to do anything for my brother, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow's words caused Qing Emperor's body to tremble. He glanced at Summer City and Shendaozi, then fell into deep thought. You are right. Perhaps Master has overlooked an important issue. I apologize to Night Sorrow and will return to face the wall for a year. Qing Emperor, who was being pressed down by the Qing Emperor's guard, was stunned for a moment. He bowed slightly to the Qing Emperor and then looked at Night Sorrow. I don't need to apologize to you. From the beginning to the end, I didn't think I was wrong. But I want to thank you. You are indeed worthy of Imperial Father's attention. I hope you can stand firm in the future. I hope you can stand firm. Qing Yuan looked at Night Sorrow and said a few words before walking out. After a few steps, he stopped and said, I did what I should for my brother. I did what I was supposed to do. I have no regrets now. However, I am a little disappointed. I need an opponent to protect me at a critical moment. Perhaps only an opponent like this is a worthy brother. Qing Yuan left. In fact, the Qing Emperor did not punish him. He did not demote him. Facing the wall for a year was not a big deal. In fact, the Qing Emperor's attitude had changed. It was a sign that he recognized him. The Qing Emperor's palace was dead silent. The Qing Emperor, who had returned to his seat, did not say anything. No one dared to say anything either. Qing Yuan's actions and Night Sorrow's words have touched me. At the same time, I am also somewhat disappointed and gratified. Qing Yuan, if you have time, go visit Qing Yuan. The Qing Emperor instructed Qing Yuan. Yes, Qing Yuan. Night Sorrow, I am also responsible for what happened today. Similarly, I will not apologize to you. Thank you for protecting Qing Yuan. Qing Yuan will remember this. Father, I will come another day to ask for forgiveness. I will take my leave now. After Qing Yuan received the order, he looked at Night Sorrow and cupped his hands before his chest before leaving the palace. Master, I want the Qing Emperor's palace to negotiate with the Red Emperor's country for the families of the 3 generals. Will I be stopped by anyone? Thinking of the situation today, Night Sorrow was worried. Night Sorrow, regarding the matter of you and the Red Emperor's country asking for the families of the 3 generals, it was not stopped. Someone has already taken care of it. The Qing Emperor nodded. Then Qing Lin and Qing Wan stood up and admitted their mistakes. They said that they did not care about Qing Yuan. Everyone in the palace knows what happened. I said that fighting is not forbidden, and you can do whatever you want. However, you threw your brother out today, which violated a great taboo. This will be the only time. After coldly looking at Qing Lin and Qing Wan, the Qing Emperor's body flashed and left. Today's matter came to an end. Old Summer, everything is fine now. Let's go home. Night Sorrow shouted to Summer City, who was standing behind him. The two of them left the Qing Emperor's palace under the respectful words of the officials. However, except for Qing Lin and Qing Wan, the other princes no longer looked at him with hostility. Today no one dared to protect Qing Yuan, not even Qing Lin and Qing Wan. However, Night Sorrow stood up for him. His magnanimity was admirable. The most important thing was that Night Sorrow said that fighting for his brother was enough reason. He was willing to do anything for his brother. Your Highness, today's matter was handled beautifully. In the future, no one will provoke you for no reason, said Summer City. I don't know what Qing Lin and Qing Yuan were like in the past, but now their minds have been blinded by jealousy. The other princes know right from wrong. Chapter 1171. We don't need to eat, but how should I put it? It's become a habit. In our family, as long as we're not in seclusion, everyone will eat dinner together. That's how it feels like home. It's also a good time to chat with family. Night Sorrow said with a smile. I'll go back and try it later. Qing Shan was stunned. They were all cultivators. Who would eat? No one would touch it. Imperial Uncle Qing Shan met with my father. It's not convenient for my father, so he asked me to come and thank him. He wanted me to pass on a message. After experiencing some things, he thought it through. Qing Yue said. Brother Qing Shan, you all have a misunderstanding. You don't see it and don't think about it. Night Sorrow looked at Qing Shan and Qing Yue and said, Please enlighten us, Your Highness. Qing Shan and Qing Yue cupped their hands at Night Sorrow. The Qing Emperor's dynasty is the Qing Emperor's dynasty. As long as he's alive, the Qing Emperor's dynasty will only have one master. What level is he at? He's as old as the heavens. So what's the point of fighting? Even if we die, he won't have any problems. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow's words stunned Qing Shan and Qing Yue. That was the truth. If the Qing Emperor wasn't old, who could take over? If the Qing Emperor really fell, the Qing Emperor's dynasty would cease to exist. You see things clearly. Your Highness, you're still the one who sees things clearly. In the future, Qing Shan Mansion welcomes Your Highness and Madam to visit anytime. Qing Shan cupped his hands at Night Sorrow. Okay. In fact, I'm still very sorry. I don't want to fight for anything, but I've still hurt some of the benefits of the imperial family. Night Sorrow said. That's boring. Even if you didn't come, Imperial Father wouldn't see us for decades. If you can make Imperial Father happy, aren't you doing your filial duty for us? Qing Shan said with a smile. After drinking 2 pots of tea, Qing Shan and Qing Yue left the gifts and left. They were just here to visit and didn't want to flatter anyone. As the descendants of the Qing Emperor, they didn't need to flatter anyone. In the latest chapter, looks like you've resolved quite a few grudges. Most of the princes won't be hostile towards you anymore. Sikong Chuyu came to Night Sorrow's side. I'm not afraid at all. In terms of status, I'm His Highness and I'm not inferior to anyone. In terms of strength, I'm not strong enough, but I have the 9 Heavens Army. Later on, I'll form a personal guard team. If they provoke me, I'll fight back, Night Sorrow said. When Qing Lin and Qing Yuan arrived at Qing Lin Palace, their morale was very low. They had lost. They knew that they had lost completely this time. Qing Yuan, let's stop fighting for now. We need to think about how we lost to him. We can't fight recklessly anymore, Qing Lin said. Qing Yuan understands. Royal brother, please rest first. Qing Yuan was not in a good mood either. The current Yi Shang was already very difficult to topple. She even felt that it was a mistake to become enemies with Yi Shang. She should not have bullied Yi Shang. They originally had a good relationship, but now they were opposing each other. After resting for a night in 9 grand floors, Night Sorrow brought Uncle Xia and the Qing Emperor's guard team back to Sky Tiger Pass. The construction of Sky Tiger Pass was still in full swing. Night Sorrow called Nu Lin over. Commander, what orders do you have? Nu Lin cupped his hands towards Night Sorrow. Dismantle all teleportation formations except for those connected to 9 grand floors. The pass isn't afraid of external attacks, but it's afraid of internal attacks. Therefore, some external factors must be dealt with. Send a group of people to guard the teleportation formation in 9 grand floors. Whether it's the imperial officials or the craftsmen, they must be strictly checked, Night Sorrow said. I'll make the arrangements. Nu Lin was shocked. He had thought of many problems, but he hadn't thought of this loophole. The Red Emperor's empire had to attack Sky Tiger Pass because it was a humiliation to the Red Emperor's empire. Nu Lin remembered the other party's methods and felt that it would be difficult to take down Sky Tiger Pass. Otherwise, the Qing Emperor's empire wouldn't have been unable to take down Sky Tiger Pass for so many years. However, the teleportation formation was indeed a weakness that the other party could exploit. Okay. Also, pay more attention to the troops gathered in Sky Tiger Pass. Treat them with sincerity when you receive them. However, you must also take precautions. Deal with them by mobilizing them. Don't let them down, Night Sorrow said. Commander, Why don't we send them to the Nine Chong Pagoda to recuperate first? I'll send our strongest men to the Nine Chong Pagoda. If there's a battle, we can teleport there at any time, Newlin said. That's fine. We're not afraid of an attack from the outside. The internal defense is the most important. Currently, the most important thing is to take care of the captives and manage the troops because these people might have clones in the Red Emperor's empire. The Red Emperor's empire might use any trick. If they're ruthless enough, the Heavenly Oath might be nothing, Night Sorrow said. Okay, then I'll make the arrangements. Keep these people under control and don't move them. I agree to follow 7 Ju Gale and Chi Wang's troops to the 9-story tower to rest. If one troop isn't enough, I'll send another troop from the Thunder Legion, Nu Lin reported to Night Sorrow. Then it's settled. Fei Xiu, follow me. The rest of the Qing Emperor's guards will be stationed in the 9-story tower. The safety of my family is also important, Night Sorrow said to Fei Xiu. At this time, Fei Xiu looked at Old Summer because protecting Night Sorrow was his duty. That's a good arrangement. The two of us are enough to protect His Highness. There are so many generals in Sky Tiger Pass. Summer City nodded. The Qing Emperor's dynasty's intelligence agents in the Red Emperor's empire found 7 Ju and Gale's families and secretly arranged for them to be sent away. However, when they reached Chi Wang's home, a problem occurred. The Red Emperor's empire received the news and dug it out from the mouth of a soldier. It was the news that Chiwa received. A captain of the Sky Tiger army was discovered when he was about to leave the Red Emperor's empire. He was originally one of Chiwa's personal guards. Chiwa originally wanted to ask him about the situation, but then he found out that he was about to take his family and leave the Red Emperor's empire. Chiwa asked angrily, but the soldier didn't say anything. In the end, Chiwa was so angry that he wanted to kill the soldier's family. The soldier had no choice but to tell him about the current situation. 7 Ju Gale, Chi Wang, how dare you betray me? Chiwa's eyes turned red when he saw that the 3 generals under his command had submitted to Night Sorrow. Your Highness, don't be too angry. The 3 generals are doing this for the sake of the thousands of soldiers, the soldier said while kneeling on one knee. According to what you said just now, does that mean that regardless of whether we send 7 Ju, Chi Wang and Gale's families away or not, they will still let them go? Chiwa calmed down a little. Chiwa immediately sent people to look for 7 Ju, Gale and Chi Wang's families. However, they were one step too late. 7 Ju and Gale's families were already empty. Chiwa's men had injured the Qing Emperor's empire's intelligence personnel in Chi Wang's house and intercepted Chi Wang's family's transfer. The Qing Emperor's empire was negotiating with the Red Emperor's empire. At the same time, they notified Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow knew that trouble was coming. The news had been leaked from the captives, and it would be difficult to deal with Chi Wang's family. After giving it some thought, Night Sorrow called for 7 Ju, Gale and Chi Wang. 7 Ju, Gale, your families are already on their way to the Qing Emperor's empire. Chi Wang, something happened on your side, but don't worry. If you can't solve your family's problem, I'll allow you to return to the Red Emperor's empire, Night Sorrow promised Chi Wang. Tabloids spread to many cities in the Red Emperor's kingdom. In the Coiling Dragon residence where the Red Emperor was resting, the Red Emperor asked Chiwa about what had happened. He thought for a moment and said, "It's useless for you to stop them. Kill them? That's a crime against the world and it'll greatly damage your reputation. It's not worth it." "But I'm not willing to just give them away," Chiwa said. "Now you have 2 choices in front of you. One is to personally send Chi Wang's family to Sky Tiger Pass and say some blessings to Chi Wang and the other 2. That way you can win the hearts of the soldiers who were released. The other is to use a scapegoat and kill Chi Wang's family. But what's the result? Chi Wang might hate Night Sorrow, but it's more likely that he'll hate you. In addition, this incident will greatly damage the reputation of the Red Emperor's kingdom." The Red Emperor looked at Chiwa and voiced his opinion. "I don't have a choice. I still need the soldiers at Sky Tiger Pass because they know Sky Tiger Pass well," Chiwa said. "Go. It's not a big deal to lose once. Just think of a way to win it back." The Red Emperor waved his hand at Chiwa. Chiwa bowed at the Red Emperor and left the Coiling Dragon residence. 7 Ju, Gale and Chi Wang were drinking. 7 Ju and Gale were also comforting Chi Wang. "Killing your family members will hurt the hearts of all the soldiers." "Chiwa won't do that," Gale said. "But he has such thoughts. Otherwise, he wouldn't have stopped the people from the Qing Emperor's kingdom from picking up my family members. He knows that the commander will let the other soldiers go." If he's magnanimous enough, he shouldn't have stopped them. Qi Huang was a little disappointed with Chiwa's actions. Don't worry. Commander Night Sorrow won't let us down, Seven Ju said. Yes. He won't let us down. Qi Huang took a sip of wine. Night Sorrow waited for news from the kingdom. He was worried that the Red Emperor's kingdom would fly into a rage out of humiliation and kill Qi Huang's family. That would cause irreparable consequences. However, someone sent a message saying that a group of people had appeared outside the Sky Tiger Pass sky ceiling array. Night Sorrow investigated and found that it was only a small group of people and a group of family members. The leader was Chiwa, who was protected by 2 elders. Commander, those are my family members, Qi Huang said excitedly. It seems that he has thought it through. He knows that he has to let them go even if he doesn't want to. It's better to be magnanimous. However, when he stopped us, he already made his stance clear. Nu Lin, bring some people to guard the entrance of the array. Night Sorrow took out the array board and opened the path. Night Sorrow, you don't have to be so careful and sneak in to pick them up. If you want them, just say it openly, Chiwa said to Night Sorrow, who was standing at the top of the Sky Tiger Pass. Chapter 1173. Chiwa didn't leave any hidden traps because he knew that it was useless. Night Sorrow wouldn't give spies a chance to sneak in. Night Sorrow heaved a sigh of relief after bringing Qi Huang's family to Tianhu Pass. Nu Lin, arrange for people to bring Qi Huang's family to 9-story building. Tell Butler he to find a place to settle down. Qi Huang, I will give you some time off. Go accompany your family first, Night Sorrow said. After that, Night Sorrow went to the commander's office and brewed a pot of tea. He felt much more assured. Bringing Qi Huang and the other 2's family members over meant that he didn't break his promise. Qi Ju and the other 2 could truly serve him. Qi Huang's matter was settled. Soon, news came from within the empire that Qi Huang and Gale's family members had arrived and were sent to 9-story building. Night Sorrow brought his men to the camp where the captives were. I, Night Sorrow, have wronged all of you. The families of Qi Ju, Qi Huang and Gale have been safely brought over. You should go back and reunite with your families. My name is Night Sorrow. I live in the Qing Empire's 9-story building. In the future, when you have nothing to do, you can come to 9-story building to drink with me. Qi Ju, Gale and Qi Huang will be there too. Men, bring wine. Send our brothers off. Night Sorrow shouted to the Nu Lin army soldiers behind him. Every soldier of Sky Tiger Army drank a jar of wine and then bowed to Night Sorrow. After opening the ceiling sky formation and sending the soldiers of Sky Tiger Army who had family members out of the pass, Night Sorrow waved his hand. All of you are good. Let's be brothers in the future. After sending the soldiers off, Night Sorrow closed the formation and returned to the commander's office. Your Highness, it's over. This is a great victory. Not only did we take over Tianhu Pass, but we also subdued 3 generals. In addition, almost an entire army of soldiers is willing to follow your Highness, Summer City said with a smile. That's right. We've earned a lot this time. Night Sorrow was also very satisfied with his gains this time. Let's go. After sending the captives away, there was one less unstable factor in Tianhu Pass. Those who were willing to stay had already been reorganized. Night Sorrow called Nu Lin to the commander's office. I plan to return to 9-story building. As for the attack on the Red Empire, stabilize it first. If they dare to enter the dark abyss in the west, we'll fight them back. Your Highness, Your Highness. Calm. Brothers, we can't be short on supplies. If there's a war that requires the activation of the Heaven Sealing Formation or the Heaven Sealing Formation, let me know, Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin. Don't worry, Commander. We have a teleportation formation that leads directly to the 9-story tower. If anything happens, we will be there in a moment. Nu Lin nodded. Lin, es Lin titesa as of as when they arrived at 9-story building, Night Sorrow surveyed the environment again. He then decided to divide the area to the west of 9-story building into a base for the 9 Heavens Army. It would be a place for training and living. 9-story building was also known as 9-story Sky Palace. It occupied a large area, several times the size of Green Qilin Palace and Green Phoenix Palace. Building a base for the army would not be a problem. It would also not affect Night Sorrow's daily life. Night Sorrow arrived at the Ministry of Works. In the Ministry of Works, Night Sorrow saw Lin Hui, who was making some estimates. Your Highness, you're here. I've estimated that the construction of Heaven Tiger Pass Impregnable Pass within the Heaven Sealing Great Formation will take half a year. The other construction can be done slowly. Lin Hui stood up and bowed to Yishang. Thank you for your hard work. Also, I plan to build a base for the army on the west side of 9-story building. The Nine Heavens Army has never had a base, Knight Sorrow said. That will affect your highness living environment in 9-story building. Your highness, you can apply for a base from the military, Lin Hui said. There's no need to go through so much trouble. When the Ministry of Works has time, just send someone to deal with the training grounds and living quarters. The main thing is that I'm still new to the dynasty, so I can't find any craftsmen, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Your highness, you're being too serious. Normal craftsmen can deal with the training grounds and living quarters. The ones working in Tian who pass are top-notch craftsmen. There are still many beginner craftsmen who are free. I'll arrange it later. Lin Hui was touched by Knight Sorrow's words. His Highness Knight Sorrow was indeed a new member of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. All right then. When I'm done, I'll treat you to a drink. Knight Sorrow nodded with a smile. After leaving the Ministry of Works, Knight Sorrow casually walked to the Azure Sky Pavilion. He stood at the entrance and thought for a while. Knight Sorrow bowed and left. Master, why didn't you let junior brother in? Zhan Tan asked Qing Emperor, who was resting with his eyes closed. Why would I let him in? He didn't want to come in. He just walked in, Qing Emperor said. Yes, he walked in with his head down. Zhan Tan thought for a while. Knight Sorrow's situation was exactly as Qing Emperor said. After returning to 9-story building, Knight Sorrow drank tea and chatted with his family. You can't do anything with a low cultivation base. You have to work hard, Red Shirt said. There were too many experts involved in the battle. Red Shirt and Lanning could not help much. The spatial treasure pagoda is right there. You can cultivate whenever you want, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. At this time, 7 absolutes, Qi Wang and Gale came to express their gratitude to Knight Sorrow. Thanks to Knight Sorrow's efforts, the impact of this battle on them was minimized. It's not a big deal. Those brothers who are willing to follow you can form an army and reorganize. Under my command you'll be the same as the other troops. There will be no distinction. If no one is willing to fight against the Crimson Emperor Kingdom, then we'll fight against the Dark Abyss in the future, Yishan said. Thank you, Commander. There is another thing that you must be careful about. The Red Emperor's nation has issued a kill order for you. Killing you will allow you to go to the Red Emperor's palace to receive 1,000,000 merit points. This is very tempting for many cultivators, 7 absolutes said. Looks like the Red Emperor's nation hates me now. Otherwise, they would not pay such a high price to kill me. Knight Sorrow understood that he had incurred the wrath of others because he had taken down Sky Tiger Pass. Yes. Sky Tiger Pass is one of the faces of the Red Emperor's nation. This time, Commander, the Red Emperor will definitely not tolerate this. Thus, some actions will follow. 7 absolutes nodded. In fact, the matter happened immediately. Fei Xiu had captured someone. The person was planning to sneak into 9-story building, but Fei Xiu happened to catch him. Your Highness, it is someone from the Red Emperor's nation. After finding out that the Red Emperor's nation is offering a high bounty, he became tempted. While he was investigating, I caught him, Fei Xiu reported. I have thought about it. Looks like our mansion is really heavily guarded. Reality proved that the situation was indeed serious. I will bring my men to patrol every day, 7 absolutes said. In the future, his world would be loyal to Knight Sorrow because the oath said that he would recognize Knight Sorrow as his master. Of course, Knight Sorrow respecting him was another matter. Chapter 1174. Then the Qing Emperor's guards brought a person into the main hall of the Jiuchong building. After taking a look, Knight Sorrow asked someone to take him away. He knew that Fei Xiu would deal with him properly. In addition, such a person, no matter how he was dealt with, would be too much. If he wanted to earn merits and kill people, then he had to be aware that he would be killed if he failed. As for the safety of the Jiuchong building, Knight Sorrow was also more assured, because there were many masters in the Jiuchong building, and there were many monarchs. Summer City, Fei Xiu, 7 Jades, Qi Wang and Gale were all monarchs. Unless it was a large army, they couldn't take down the Jiuchong building. The Qing Emperor also knew that the Red Emperor's country had issued a kill order to Knight Sorrow, but he didn't ask. He was not worried about Summer City and the strength of the Jiuchong building. He calculated that in the Qing Emperor's dynasty besides him, the strongest one was Knight Sorrow. Even Qing Lin and Qing Wan couldn't compare with him, and the other princes were not even on the same level. In the dark abyss, in a hall full of piles of white bones, a woman in a black dress and a veil sat on the main seat. This woman was the most famous and the strongest woman in the world of samsara, the Dark Master, Datura. After listening to the report, Datura's fingers tapped. Tianhu Pass changed hands. I really didn't expect that the Qing Emperor's dynasty would be strong again. It is said that the Qing Emperor's dynasty got a practitioner with merits in the Jiuxiao World Group. I went down to investigate and collected the information here. It can be said that this person is currently a key figure in the Qing Emperor's dynasty. His status is far beyond the other princes. Even the most outstanding children of the Qing Emperor, Qing Lin and Qing Wan, can't compare with him. The reporting man handed over a piece of information. Taking the information, Datura's slender fingers flipped through it. As Datura watched, the others waited quietly, not even daring to breathe. This is where the Qing Emperor is stronger than the Red Emperor and the others. He is broad-minded, and a 100-year-old king with 2 high-level attributes is also worthy of his attention. Looks like the Red Emperor is 1 step slower, so he is destined to be at a disadvantage in some things. Rowan, it is recorded here that he has a female peak Saint King with the death attribute by his side. I want this person. After thinking of a way, bring her back. Datura waved her arm and threw the information to the black-robed man, Rowan. The person she was talking about was Zhu Jiuyun. This subordinate will do it right away, Rowan said with a bow. It will be difficult, but we can't give up. Also send out the army. Heaven Tiger Pass is at the intersection of our 3 forces. If the Red Emperor's kingdom can't defend it, then we will attack it. They have just conquered Heaven Tiger Pass and it is not stable yet. Although we can't take it down by force, we will attack from the surroundings and not give them a chance to lie down in the pass, Datura said and then left. The world of reincarnation was a supreme world, and there were many top forces. However, there were only 3 in the eastern region, the Qing Emperor's kingdom, the Red Emperor's kingdom, and the Dark Abyss. The 3 top forces fought each other all year round. After the Dark Dominator left, the officials in the hall began to discuss and finally decided to send out the Devil Blood Army. Devil Blood, we can't take down Heaven Tiger Pass directly. It will waste a lot of our forces. You can surround Heaven Tiger Pass and attack the Qing Emperor's kingdom's territory. This way the 9 Heavens army will have to go out. If they go out, Heaven Tiger Pass will be empty, Rowan said to another black-robed man. Devil Blood understands. Once they are empty, our Devil Blood Army Shadow Army will charge in. The man with blood-red tattoos on his face nodded. Then go. If you need any support, let us know. Our Abyss Hall will support you. Rowan nodded to Devil Blood. Knight Sorrow didn't have much to do every day. He just walked back and forth between 9 Heavens Tower and Heaven Tiger Pass. If he had time, he would watch the 9 Heavens Army train. The 9 Heavens Army's individual combat strength was unquestionable. Now they were strengthening their joint attack formation. This was what Knight Sorrow had requested. In addition, the Black Tiger Army was also officially established. The army's commander was the 7 Invincible. They were equipped with the black meteoric iron armor issued by the military. Currently, all the soldiers were strengthening their joint attack formation. Currently, the 9 Heavens Army had 5 armies. Their combat strength was far superior to the Lin Yuan Army. Knight Sorrow also took some time to study the Heaven Sealing Formation and Heaven Locking Formation. He had the formation disc in his hand so he could control the formation. Knight Sorrow planned to engrave the Heaven Sealing Formation and Heaven Locking Formation in his mind and make them part of his formation Tao. Most Newbie Asterisk Chapter. Part 1. Knight Sorrow's life was very fulfilling. However, the Qing Emperor's dynasty was a bit chaotic. The Dark Abyss had once again launched an attack. This time they were attacking the borders of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. After the military received the news, they informed Knight Sorrow to go to the Qing Emperor's palace for a meeting. When Knight Sorrow arrived, the military officials were all present. Green Lin and Green Wan were also present. Tan Lin took out a map of the Qing Emperor's dynasty and marked the location of the attack on the Qing Emperor's dynasty. This time the attack is from the Dark Abyss's elite army, the Devil Blood Army. Their goal is unknown, Tan Lin said after explaining the situation. They are targeting the Heaven Tiger Pass. Of course, such a tactic won't be able to take down the Heaven Tiger Pass. However, if the 9 Heavens Army wants to fight, they will have to leave the Heaven Tiger Pass. This will cause the Heaven Tiger Pass to be empty. Or perhaps they have some hidden carts. When they feel empty, they can take down the Heaven Tiger Pass, Knight Sorrow said after looking at the attack area. If necessary, the Lin Yuan Army can fight, Green Lin stood out and said. For now, I will see how to deal with this. If necessary, I will ask. Night Sorrow looked at Green Lin and nodded. The situation is tense now. The Qing Emperor's dynasty can't keep being attacked. Therefore we need to deal with this. The battle is in the Nine Heavens Army's area. Your Highness Night Sorrow, please come down and deal with it. We will cooperate with you if you need anything, Tanlin said. After Night Sorrow returned to the 9 heavenly floors, he took some information and went to the Heaven Tiger Pass. He gathered all the army commanders and commanders in the commander's office. Originally this should be our time to rest. However, the battle report doesn't give us the time. The Dark Abyss has moved. They are attacking these areas. Night Sorrow took out a map and circled it. They are surrounding the Heaven Tiger Pass. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to move us out of the Heaven Tiger Pass? Nu Lin looked at the map and frowned. Dark Abyss understands. We've just taken over Heaven Tiger Pass, and our foundation isn't stable yet. We can't just watch our territory get invaded, so we're doing this. However, since we've declared war, we have to fight. Now, everyone, let's discuss our battle strategy, Yishan said. We are not afraid of war. We will only show our importance if there is a war. Our brothers also need military merits. However, the prerequisite is that the Heaven Tiger Pass must be stable, Nu Lin said. That's right. Now we are seeing the Dark Abyss start a war. When the Red Emperor's dynasty receives the news, they will not let us stay idle. Therefore a difficult time has come. Night Sorrow looked at the group of people in the commander's office and emphasized the difficulty. Here is the second update. Chapter 1175. Nu Lin and the others stood up. Commander, please assign the tasks. Right now we have to stabilize the situation. That is to say, we have 5 armies now. 2 armies must be stationed in Heaven Tiger Pass to guard against the Crimson Emperor Empire's attack. The other 3 armies must use their superior numbers to kill the small groups from the Dark Abyss. The key to strategy is to be flexible. After killing a group of enemies, retreat immediately. We must not linger in battle, Yishan said. The others nodded because Night Sorrow's train of thought was correct. Then I will assign the tasks. Thunder Army and Ding Xiang Army will guard Heaven Tiger Pass for now. The Nu Lin Army and Ping Army and Black Tiger Army will follow me to battle, Night Sorrow said. Yes, Commander. Nu Lin and the others bowed. Then we can only wait? Qin Leitang was a little anxious. Heaven Tiger Pass is very important. We must not lose it. Once we lose it, we will not be able to get it back. Of course, the 2 Heaven Lock Formation and Heaven Lock Formation are not places they can easily break in. However, we must be prepared. Wait for the Nu Lin Army and Ping Army to rest before you go to battle, Night Sorrow said to Qin Leitang and Wei Wei. Qin Leitang and Wei Wei nodded. Wei Wei is impatient. Leitang, please be careful. The Nu Lin Army and Ping Army and Black Tiger Army are to gather. We will depart in an hour, Night Sorrow reminded Qin Leitang. I will assign a Qing Emperor's Guard team to follow your highness. Fei Xiu was a little worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Then assign a team. 9-story tower will leave 2 teams. With the city guards and the Imperial Army, safety should not be a problem. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and nodded. Fei Xiu returned and the other armies started to gather. When Fei Xiu brought the men over, Red Coat and Lan Ning followed. The God-slaying team wanted to follow, but I did not agree. They are not bad now, but they are still too weak. They need time to grow. I also agreed to let them go out to train, Fei Xiu reported to Night Sorrow. That's what they should do. They should leave as well. The 9-story tower still lacks a monarch to hold the fort. Night Sorrow was a little worried. Now that the Red Emperor's empire had issued a kill order for him, many rogue cultivators would come for him. Don't worry, Your Highness. In our Qing Emperor's city, monarch-level cultivators must be registered. If they don't, they will be killed if they walk around the Qing Emperor's dynasty. This is an iron law. Therefore, monarch-level cultivators won't come looking for trouble. If a high-level king comes looking for trouble in our 9-chong tower, then the Qing Emperor's guards and the Imperial City guards will kill them, said Summer City. Then I'm at ease. We'll start fighting in a moment. I want to see just how powerful the Dark Abyss Demon Blood Legion is. If they dare to come, we'll kill them back. Night Sorrow's body was brimming with battle intent. A moment later, Nu Lin and Ning, 7 Absolutes, Qi Wang, and Strong Wind all came back and reported that they had gathered their men. Night Sorrow nodded and brought his men to the martial arts practice field. The battle at Sky Tiger Pass was the first battle I led everyone to. Now that another battle has come, as people of the Imperial City, We're not afraid of battle. No matter who comes to invade our territory, we'll fight back. What are they? In my eyes, they can be described in 2 words: opponents and merits. They are opponents that must be killed and merits that must be earned. I, Knight Sorrow, will fight with everyone, Knight Sorrow said to the soldiers in the martial arts practice field. Knight Sorrow's reply was the sound of armor being knocked on. Black Tiger Army, you've just joined, but in my eyes you're all equal. You have to earn merits and make a name for yourself to show others. Knight Sorrow then looked at the Black Tiger Army and said. Knight Sorrow's reply was a wave of weapons. Then Knight Sorrow brought a group of people to the Heaven Lock spell. In a moment after I open the array, those with Monarch's cultivation will quickly attack and capture people from all directions. I don't believe that there aren't any spies here. Kill all the spies. After taking out the array disc, Yi Shang reminded the monarchs behind him. After the Heaven Lock spell was opened, Fei Xiu, Nu Lin and Ning, 7 absolutes, Qi Wang, Strong Wind, and the others rushed out to carry out Knight Sorrow's orders. However, Summer City didn't move because he had to stay close to Knight Sorrow to protect him. Standing in front of Sky Tiger Pass, the 3 armies didn't move and waited for news. A moment later, Fei Xiu and Ning came back with 2 unconscious men. Nu Lin and 7 absolutes also came back. Commander, I didn't do it well. I accidentally killed him, Nu Lin said embarrassedly. Me too. He was too fragile. 7 absolutes' face was a little red. What's there to be embarrassed about? I said kill them all. I don't plan on keeping them alive. There's also nothing to interrogate. Just kill them directly. Let's go. Knight Sorrow activated the army command order. His body flashed and flew. He already had a target area in mind. Knight Sorrow's men killed all the spies. However, Devil Blood also knew that the 9 Heavens army was going out. Most of the spies were clones. Their main bodies were in the Devil Blood army's headquarters. The news was immediately reported to Devil Blood. The 9 Heavens army has 4 armies. I wonder how many of them came out. Devil Blood thought as he wiped his battle blade. The spies knew that the 9 Heavens army was going out. However, they were captured and killed before they had a chance to investigate. Yi Shan led the team and used 4 hours to arrive at the place where the Demon Blood Legion soldiers were fighting. Then they directly surrounded and killed the Demon Blood Legion. In the time it took to brew a cup of tea, the Dark soldiers were eliminated. Quickly clean up the battlefield and move on to the next area. Knight Sorrow gave the order. Original release. Knight Sorrow then led the team to the next area. The Devil Blood army was very strong. However, the battlefront was too long. If they wanted to surround and kill everyone near the Heaven Tiger Pass, their forces would not be concentrated enough. Now Knight Sorrow was leading 3 armies and killing small groups. After 2 armies were eliminated in a row, Devil Blood knew that the situation was not good. To be able to kill them so quickly, Knight Sorrow must have led a very strong army. Devil Blood ordered the troops to gather and then surrounded Knight Sorrow's area. Knight Sorrow did not delay. After eliminating 2 armies, he did not continue fighting. He quickly moved in a semicircle and flew toward another point on the map. Knight Sorrow knew that Devil Blood would definitely receive the news and would definitely mobilize people to kill the 9 Heavens army. Compared to the Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Red Emperor's empire, the Dark Abyss' greatest advantage was that they had more dark creatures. Normally, the Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Red Emperor's empire would have 4 armies and 4 armies. However, the Dark Abyss was not like that. The Dark Abyss army had 10 armies and 4 armies each. In other words, the Dark Abyss army had twice the number of soldiers compared to the Qing Emperor's dynasty and the Red Emperor's empire. Therefore, Knight Sorrow would not fight them head-on. He could only use mobile warfare to deal with them. Devil Blood led a large group of people to the place where they were attacked. Seeing the ground full of corpses, Devil Blood ordered the people to search around. But at this moment, Knight Sorrow had already made his move against another army. Nu Lin's opinion was the same as his. The Demon Blood Legion would not fight inside the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Their goal would be to take over the Heaven Tiger Pass. The Devil Blood Legion was furious. They didn't expect that they would suffer such a huge loss so soon after the battle started. One of their legions was defeated by Knight Sorrow. Since they were at a disadvantage, they had to change their tactics. The Devil Blood Legion redistributed their forces. That was to have 2 legions move together. The distance between the 2 legions wasn't too big. This way they would have time to support each other during the battle. Knight Sorrow brought his men to repair the base. He thought for a while and decided to scout first before attacking. Nu Lin went to arrange this. The Nu Lin army had trained spies. They were of the dark element and were good at hiding and scouting. The ones that went out were clones that didn't have much combat power. However, they were extremely fast and wouldn't be discovered easily. After a wave of spies went out, Night Sorrow continued to look at the map. Nu Lin and Ning Seven Jades, look here. This is the Dark Abyss Blackwater town. If we attack this place and wipe it out, their men will definitely come back to help. This will disrupt their rhythm. We can cut off a small part of their tail. That's a good idea. And Ning agreed. Nu Lin also nodded. The Devil Blood Legion came out to fight because they have military orders. That's why they are anxious to achieve something. We are different. Right now, no one is pressuring us, so we can play with them. We will use this Blackwater town as the center and fight them. When their entire army comes back, we will leave. When they leave, we will come back. When they move back and forth, there will be a difference in time and a loophole will appear. That will be our chance, Night Sorrow said. That's right. If we make them run around, we will have a chance, Nu Lin said as he knocked on the table. Slow down. My teacup. Night Sorrow glared at Nu Lin. Soon, the spies returned and reported the Devil Blood Legion situation. With two legions moving together, we really can't take them down. Nu Lin let the spies lead the way. We will go through the gaps between their legions and take down their Blackwater town, Night Sorrow said as he rolled up the map. Then the Nine Heavens Legion moved. Night Sorrow combined the information from the spies and chose a path to take. Within the Azure Sky Pavilion, the Qing Emperor was brewing tea. He drank it while listening to the military officials' reports. Xian Daozi's face was bitter as he drank the tea made by sandalwood. In the past, he felt that drinking tea was a form of life. Now he felt that drinking tea was a form of torture. Night Sorrow is in a difficult situation. The Devil Blood Legion is very strong. They have 10 legions. In addition, Night Sorrow has to defend Heaven Tiger Pass. It's difficult. Hearing Tan Lin's report, the Qing Emperor shook his head. Should we send the Lin Yuan Legion out? Tan Lin asked. Not for now. Let's see the situation first. Although the pressure is great, this emperor feels that he might be able to handle it. The Qing Emperor shook his head. The enemy has 3 times the soldiers of the Nine Heavens Legion. On top of that, the Nine Heavens Legion has to defend Heaven Tiger Pass and the pressure from the Red Emperor's empire. The situation is not very optimistic. Tan Lin was a bit worried. Don't worry. Night Sorrow is not as weak as you think. Defeating the strong is also his ability. If there is any news, report it. The Qing Emperor waved his hand and had Tan Lin leave. The pressure is great. Can this be done? Xian Daozi asked. This could be a crisis for the Qing Emperor's empire. It could also be an opportunity for us to show our might. Secret guards, go and collect all the information, the Qing Emperor said. Yes. A reply came from the shadows of the Qing Emperor's palace. Qing Lin and Qing Wan were drinking tea in the Qing Lin palace, discussing the current situation. This could be Night Sorrow's moment of humiliation. To be honest, I don't want to see the Nine Heavens Legion suffer such heavy losses, Qing Lin said. Night Sorrow deserves to die, but the Qing Emperor's empire is ours. Qing Lin is right. Father is here, and the Qing Emperor's empire can't be controlled by others. But right now we don't have orders from the military, so we can't send troops. If we lose, we can only blame it on Night Sorrow's bad luck, Qing Wan said. We can only wait. Maybe when the Nine Heavens Legion suffers heavy losses, then we can attack, Qing Lin said, spinning the teacup in his hand. Don't worry. Even if the Nine Heavens Legion suffers heavy losses, it won't shake the foundation of the Qing Emperor's empire, Qing Wan said. Chapter 1177. Night Sorrow didn't know what was going on outside. After leading the Nine Heavens Legion through a gap in the Devil Blood Legion's formation, they began a long journey. Their target was the Dark Abyss Blackwater town. It was also a defensive town. After nearly a day, the Nine Heavens Legion arrived at the outskirts of Blackwater town. After we enter, Nu Lin, bring people to destroy the teleportation formation immediately to prevent reinforcements and the Devil Blood Legion from returning. Then clean up. Remember, don't touch the old, weak, sick or disabled, Night Sorrow said. How will the Devil Blood Legion return? They are currently pressing towards the dynasty's border. Tranquility said. Then can't they return quickly? For example, I have a soul crystal in Thunder Lord's hand. If he shatters it now, I can immediately set up a teleportation formation and insert the crystal in Sky Tiger Pass teleportation formation. Then we can return quickly. Of course, I don't know if others will do this, but we have to be careful, Night Sorrow said to Tranquility. Don't ask in the future. Just fight according to the commander's orders. Nu Lin glared at Tranquility. However, he was very impressed. Night Sorrow had calculated everything in his mind. Brothers, it's time to fight. Night Sorrow waved Samsara and gave the order. Blackwater Town was an important defensive town, but after the Devil Blood Legion's 10 legions entered the fray, the town's defenses had slackened. No one would have thought that someone would attack, so they lacked an effective defense. After a short while, the 9 Heavens Legion had broken through. Tigers and wolves. The soldiers of the 9 Heavens Legion, who couldn't fight the Devil Blood Legion head-on, were filled with pent-up anger. Now that they had a place to vent, they directly attacked the Dark Abyss soldiers in Blackwater Town. Night Sorrow charged at the front with Splitter. Summer City didn't attack. He just followed. He disdained to participate in this kind of battle. He just had to be careful not to have experts suddenly appear to ambush Night Sorrow. Nu Lin charged towards the teleportation formation. Chi Wang, who didn't bring an army, followed behind him. The two of them didn't fight. The combat strength of the 3 armies far exceeded that of Blackwater Town. Very quickly they reached the town's headquarters, which was the commander's office. And Ning, bring some people to collect the resources. Chi Wang, bring a group of people to clean up. I don't want to see the enemy's shadow within 100 miles. The rest of you continue to push in all directions. We'll meet here in 2 hours. Night Sorrow ordered. Blackwater Town was an important military town. The nearest reinforcements from the Dark Abyss would not be able to arrive within 4 hours. After giving the order, Night Sorrow went to the plaza in front of the commander's office and started setting up the formation. Your Highness, do we still have a chance to trick them? Summer City asked as she looked at Night Sorrow. Yes, if everything goes well, we'll be able to achieve great results, Night Sorrow said as he set up a formation. 2 hours later, Night Sorrow finished setting up a combination of illusory and killing arrays. In the middle of the illusion array, Night Sorrow also set up a teleportation array without a teleportation crystal. At this time, all the soldiers had returned to the plaza in front of the town's headquarters. Night Sorrow asked everyone to go to the area where he set up the formation. Then he activated the formation and hit everyone. Your Highness, what other plans do we have? Nu Lin asked excitedly. If their reinforcements are weak, then we'll eat them. If not, then we'll wait. We're safe in the illusory array. Even if there's a heavenly adept level array that can detect us, I can still activate the killing array. They won't be able to charge in. There's also a teleportation array here. We can fight and leave as we wish, Night Sorrow said as he took a sip of wine from the wine jar. Then I'll send out the spies to see if there are any reinforcements from Blackwater Town. The number of reinforcements and the interval between them. Then the commander will estimate if we can fight. Nu Lin looked at Night Sorrow and said, Sure. Send the spies further away. It'll take 2 hours. Report the number of reinforcements if you see any and we'll decide if we should attack. Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin. He knew that the 9 Heavens Army had their own training system for spies. They were powerful and accurate in delivering information. There was no problem with their safety. They were clones that did not have much combat power and were good at hiding. Nu Lin nodded and arranged for the spies. Night Sorrow sent them out of the illusion array. Great. It's so great to fight with the commander, Anning said while smiling. Indeed. I feel my blood boiling. Nu Lin nodded. It's because of our brother's support that the war went so smoothly. As long as we can successfully bring them back from Dynasty's borders, we'll have succeeded. In the future we can fight however we want. They have to follow our wishes, said Yishan. That's right. Watch for free/permanent/free unspecified currency p hashtag. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow told everyone to sit down and rest. They had to be in peak condition for the upcoming war. 4 hours later, the spies sent back news that the Devil Blood Army's 2 armies were approaching Blackwater Town from the direction Night Sorrow and the others had come from. There were no other armies following them. 2 hours later, the 2 armies arrived. Night Sorrow took a deep breath. Nu Lin, take a small team and follow me. Kill everyone who sees us. After telling everyone to stay put, Night Sorrow left the illusion array. He rushed to the entrance of Blackwater Town and started setting up the array with spiritual stones. This time, Night Sorrow was setting up the Death Lock array. It was based on the research of the Heaven Lock array. Nu Lin took people and killed all the Dark Abyss troops around to prevent the news from leaking out. Knowing that Night Sorrow was using the cutting strategy in Heaven Tiger Pass, Summer City knew what Night Sorrow was going to do. Your Highness, you plan to trap and kill a portion of them and then use the 3 armies of the 9 Heavens army to kill them all? That's right. In a head-on battle, our 3 armies can kill 2 of the enemy's armies, but there will be a lot of casualties. If we use the array to trap around half of their forces, then the Nu Lin army and Ping army and Black Tiger army will not be under much pressure. We can take them down with the smallest price, Night Sorrow said as he set up the array. Night Sorrow was racing against time. He had to finish setting up the array before the enemy arrived. The requirements were very high. A high-level array that could trap a monarch was not easy to set up. Night Sorrow had used up a lot of energy to set up the illusion array. However, he could only hold on. He had to hold on. This was a chance to deal a heavy blow to the Devil Blood army. Summer City was very excited because this was too ruthless. If they succeeded, then the Devil Blood army would lose 3 armies to Night Sorrow. That was equivalent to losing 1/3 of their forces. According to the Qing Emperor's dynasty, that was equivalent to losing an entire army. Night Sorrow used up a lot of energy to set up the array. After close to 2 hours, Night Sorrow finished setting up the array. The spy also received a new message. In the time it took to brew a cup of tea, the Devil Blood army would arrive. Uncle Summer, I'll leave the activation of the array to you. As long as around half of their forces enter the array, you need to insert 2 Holy Spirit stones into the array I set up. Then with a long whistle, I will open the illusion array and bring people over, Night Sorrow said to Summer City. Rest assured, Your Highness. I will do it well. Summer City nodded vigorously at Night Sorrow. Chapter 1178. Night Sorrow returned to the illusionary killing array. After announcing the battle preparations, he began to wait. Commander, what's the situation now? Seven Ju, who was standing behind Night Sorrow, asked. Wait. We might have a chance to take down 2 of the enemy's armies. Night Sorrow tightened and loosened his grip on Lai Kong as he waited for Summer City's news. Commander, you're not joking, right? Tranquility also came to Night Sorrow's side. No. You'll know in a while. Brothers, the battle is about to begin. Everyone be careful. When we drink, we can't lose any of our brothers, Night Sorrow said to the soldiers behind him. General Tranquility, our young master never jokes. Lan Ning glared at Tranquility. Why are you so fierce? Be careful or you won't be able to get married, Tranquility muttered. None of your business. Lan Ning retorted angrily. Don't quarrel. The crucial moment has arrived. Night Sorrow was a little excited. If they could take down 2 of the Devil Blood Legion's armies, the situation of the war would change. The Devil Blood Legion's advantage wouldn't be so great, and the war wouldn't be so difficult. The 9 Heavens Legion wouldn't be surrounded by the Devil Blood Legion. Tranquility and Seven Ju were both waiting. They knew that Night Sorrow might have made some arrangements. Nu Lin had led his men to kill all the Dark Abyss warriors around the Great Formation. Then he had been guarding it in the dark. The main reason was that he didn't want anyone to report to the 2 armies of the Demon Blood Legion so that they wouldn't enter the formation. Summer City stared at the array. He knew that this was Night Sorrow's chance. It was the 9 Heavens Legion's chance. If they could win this battle, the 9 Heavens Legion would have a chance to defeat the Devil Blood Legion. Then, Night Sorrow's position and prestige in the Qing Emperor's dynasty would be unshakable. Even Sandalwood didn't have such a battle record back then. L+P the 2 armies of the Devil Blood Legion were advancing rapidly. Devil Blood's order was to reach Blackwater Town as soon as possible. Even if they couldn't contend against Night Sorrow's army, they had to bite down on Night Sorrow's troops and buy time for the reinforcements to arrive. Seeing that the 2 armies of the Devil Blood Legion had entered the formation, the vanguard troops had already left the formation. Before the reinforcements entered the formation, Summer City threw 2 Holy Spirit stones that were infused with energy into the formation. With the 2 Saint Spirit stones in Summer City's hand, the Deathlock array was activated. Wind and thunder rose from the ground. As the energy surged, a soldier of the Devil Blood Legion was enveloped by the formation. Seeing that the array formation had successfully trapped the Devil Blood army, Summer City let out a long howl. Night Sorrow waved his left hand and threw out a few Holy Spirit stones to stop the illusion array. He then shouted to the people behind him and led them towards the killing array. When Yi Shang and the others arrived, Nu Lin and his team were besieged. Seeing that Night Sorrow's formation was effective, Nu Lin didn't wait for Night Sorrow and the others to arrive and attacked. As a result, there were still many people who weren't trapped by the formation. They directly surrounded their small team. Brothers kill. Let's end this quickly. Night Sorrow waved Splitter and charged towards Nu Lin's small team. The Angry Qilin Army, the Calm Peace Army, and the Black Tiger Army were well trained and had a joint attack formation. How could they compare to the Devil Blood Army, which had been thrown into disarray by the formation? In a little more than 15 minutes, the Devil Blood Legion that weren't trapped by the formation were all killed. There were no prisoners at all. Get ready. I will open the formation and kill the people inside. Then we will have a great achievement, Night Sorrow said as he looked at his blood-stained battle robe. During this period of time, Night Sorrow had consumed a lot of energy. During the battle, he didn't use energy to protect himself. Your Highness, you can just command the battle. Don't charge, Summer City said worriedly. Actually, it wasn't that he was worried. It was that he felt sorry for Night Sorrow. Brothers, you are all fighting with your lives on the line. As long as I am alive, I will fight alongside you all, Night Sorrow said as he turned around to look at the blood-stained Nine Heavens Army soldiers. Summer City nodded and didn't say anything else. This was Night Sorrow's insistence. Seeing that everyone was ready, Night Sorrow opened the killing array and began the second round of slaughter. The soldiers of the Nine Heavens Legion were all ferocious. Although they had expended a bit of energy, they could make up for it with their joint attack formation. Hunting down the Devil Blood Legion that was in disarray wasn't difficult at all. The main reason was that the Nine Heavens Legion had more generals. Generals played a crucial role in this kind of battle. 1 hour later, the Nine Heavens Legion led by Yi Shang had destroyed this army as well. Give everyone half a cup of tea's time. Clean up the battlefield and then gather. Night Sorrow gave the order. At the same time he fell into deep thought. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow waved his hand at Nu Lin. Commander, what are your orders? Nu Lin shook off the blood on his halberd and walked over. Today I won't play by the rules. Send scouts to continue scouting, Night Sorrow said to Nu Lin. His eyes were filled with killing intent. After 2 battles, Night Sorrow's fighting spirit was at its peak. Yes. Nu Lin's eyes lit up. He didn't think that Night Sorrow wouldn't take everyone away. He still had the courage to fight. This was what he wanted to see. Everyone, gather at your previous position. 7 absolutes, you take a small team and clean up the surroundings as well as the area around the plaza. I don't want any information to leak out and delay the battle. Yi Sorrow gave 7 absolutes instructions. 7 took the order and went to work. Night Sorrow brought everyone back to the illusion area in the center of the town. He activated the array again and installed the teleportation crystal. Now, those who are heavily injured teleport back to recover. And Pingjun, teleport back and pass on my order to Qin Leitang. Thunder Army, teleport back quickly. Night Sorrow ordered tranquility. After the previous battle, Night Sorrow realized that Pingjuan's fighting strength was slightly weaker than the Nu Lin army. The Black Tiger Army was made up of the elites of the Sky Tiger Pass Army. Their fighting strength was also shocking, surpassing Pingjuan's. Soon, other than Summer City, everyone else returned. Nu Lin and 7 also returned. However, the 2 small teams they led were still outside the array. Commander, it's done. Nu Lin and 7 bowed to Night Sorrow. Distribute resources to everyone. Recover as soon as possible. There may be more battles, Night Sorrow said to the 2. Nu Lin and 7 nodded and turned to make arrangements. Night Sorrow also sat cross-legged and cultivated. And Pingjun left and the Thunder Army moved in. The rotation of the military forces was carried out in an orderly manner. Mo Shui was infuriated. 2 armies had been devoured in less than 2 hours. He didn't understand where Yi Shang had gotten so much military power, because it was impossible for Yi Shang to not guard Heaven Tiger Pass. Right now, his Devil Blood Legion was still rather far from Blackwater Town. Men, order the 2 armies closest to Blackwater Town to move towards Blackwater Town as fast as possible. The other armies will surround the route. Dark Feather, you take 2 armies. You take the Shadow Army to Sky Tiger Pass and see if there is an opportunity to attack. Even if there isn't, hide well and block their route. Mo Shui issued a series of orders. Chapter 1179. After Qin Leitang arrived, he waited on the side with the Thunder Army. And Ping had already told him about the battle, and he was very excited. Now it was time for the Thunder Army to go out. When Ping arrived at Heaven Tiger Pass, he saw the officials of the Empire. Right now, too many people were worried about this battle. Tan Lin had been waiting for news at Heaven Tiger Pass. General and Ping, what is the situation? Tan Lin asked anxiously. Commander Tan, normally only the commander can write a military report and report it. However, since you are here, I will give you a summary. The Nine Heavens Legion has been victorious. In less than 3 days, they have already defeated more than 3 armies of the Devil Blood Legion, Tranquility said as he wiped the blood off his armor with a towel. You are saying that you have already defeated 3 armies of the Devil Blood Army? In other words, you have eliminated 1/3 of their strength? Close to one of our regular armies? Tan Lin's face was full of shock. Who can joke about this military news? The commander and the others will probably be back soon. At that time, the commander will write a military report and talk to the commander. Just wait here, and Ping said. This is really making me anxious. The Thunder Army has also gone out. When will it be our Dingxiang Army's turn? Wei Wei paced back and forth in the commander's office. He was very anxious. Wei Wei, why didn't you and the Thunder Army go out? The commander must have considered the importance of Heaven Tiger Pass and didn't dare to leave all his tired troops at Heaven Tiger Pass. You have to understand, and Ping said. I understand. I support and obey unconditionally, but my heart has already flown with the commander, Wei Wei said as he knocked on his armor. Don't let your heart fly with the commander. I have been waiting for you for millions of years, and Ping said bitterly. Go and die. Wei Wei glared at An Ping. Night Sorrow brought people to recover at full speed because he felt that there would be more armies coming. When Night Sorrow stood up, Nu Lin came to report that the scouts had found 2 more armies coming. 2 more armies? It seems that they are really giving us a chance. How far are they? Night Sorrow looked at Nu Lin and asked. This time the scout is further away. He will be here in 3 hours, Nu Lin reported to Night Sorrow. Let's get to work. Nu Lin, take some men and move the corpses of the Demon Blood Army into the town to create an illusion. Don't let the enemy see through the range of the formation. General Lei Ting, take a leader and follow me to the other entrance of Blackwater Town to set up the formation. After we finish off these 2 armies, we can fight our way back to the mansion and rest. After Night Sorrow finished speaking, he left the camp. Qin Leiting brought the Massacre God's domain and followed Night Sorrow out of the illusion array area. Blackwater Town was an important defensive town in the Dark Abyss. There were only 2 entrances into the town. One was the south entrance that Night Sorrow came from, and the other was the north entrance. Night Sorrow felt that the Demon Blood Army would know that he had set up the formation. They might change their route and enter from another direction. Since he had set up the formation here as well, no matter which direction they came from, they would fall into the pit. The consumption of war is huge. When we return, we still need resources. I have used up a few thousand Saint Spirit stones, Night Sorrow muttered as he set up the formation. In order to set up a king rank formation, the Spirit Stones needed to be Saint Spirit Stones. High-grade and supreme-grade Spirit Stones would not have the same effect. Your Highness, if we can kill the enemy, what's the big deal about using up some Saint Spirit Stones? This is all included in the consumption of war. If the army needs to use it, the dynasty will reward them as well. Fei Xiu, who was protecting Night Sorrow, said with a smile. He felt that Night Sorrow was sometimes a bit of a miser and was reluctant to part with Saint Spirit Stones. He knew that the Qing Emperor had directly rewarded Night Sorrow with 30,000 Saint Spirit Stones. In 2 hours, Night Sorrow finished setting up the formation. At the same time, he told Qin Leiting to bring people to guard this place and not let unrelated people enter or alert the Demon Blood Army. He also told Qin Leiting to only let the enemy enter the 9 activation formation. After taking care of everything, Night Sorrow went to the south entrance of Blackwater Town. Summer City and Nu Lin led a group of people to watch this place. Commander, the fake battlefield has been set up. It will give them a false impression. Now we just have to see how they enter, Nu Lin said as he arrived beside Night Sorrow. I have also set up a formation at the north entrance. They have 2 armies. As long as one of them jumps into the formation, it will not be a problem to kill them. After this battle, we really have to leave. The main force of the Demon Blood Army should not be far away. If we continue to fight, we will not be able to defeat them. Night Sorrow took out 3 jars of wine. He gave one to Summer City, one to Nu Lin, and opened one for himself. The Demon Blood Army is a very famous commander in the Dark Abyss. They have just come out and their army is already crippled. I think they will have a good time, Nu Lin said. Then we can't do anything about it. If we can successfully take down 2 of their armies, they will only have about 4.5 armies left. They will not be a threat to us. We will go back and rest. When we are in good shape, we will come out and play with them again, Night Sorrow said with a smile. They have no choice but to meet an opponent like you, Your Highness, Summer City said. He felt sad for the Demon Blood Army. In the Qing Emperor's dynasty, there were many people who could lead armies into battle. However, Night Sorrow was the only one who could play battle tactics so well. Qing Lin and Qing Huan could fight, but that was only because of their strength and manpower. In the past, the eastern district of the world of reincarnation was constantly at war. Large numbers of people died. Every army had to recruit new blood every year. No one was like Night Sorrow, who did not care about the casualties in war. It was natural for people to die in war. The Empire would not care about the deaths. Commander, after we win this time, you can go back and report to His Majesty. We can ask for an expansion of the army. This kind of war is exhausting. The Empire has reserves to replenish the soldiers. We can build 2 more armies. Who will we be afraid of then? Newlin said. Yes, Pine Garden City has trained people. It is not a problem to build 1 or 2 armies at any time. However, the Empire does not approve the construction of armies easily, Summer City said. At this moment, a figure flashed. A messenger had arrived. Commander, General Wei Wei sent a subordinate to deliver a message. An army has appeared in the direction of the Red Emperor's country. They are coming for the Sky Tiger Pass. There are also enemy troops in the other direction of the Sky Tiger Pass. However, they are not attacking. They are surrounding the Sky Tiger Pass. The army is from the Dark Abyss, the messenger said. Understood. Go back and tell General Wei Wei and General Anping to stay calm. We will be back soon. Just ignore them. Even if they attack, it will not be effective in a short time, Night Sorrow ordered the messenger. VV Chapter Sway #, the bastards from the Red Emperor's country are really fast, Newlin cursed. He knew that Night Sorrow's strategy was good. He had dealt a heavy blow to the Demon Blood Army. Otherwise the situation would be bad. Although the Sky Tiger Pass was a pass, they still had to fight. If they let the enemy attack, they would not be able to hold on. Don't worry. I want to see what Chihuahua can do. Let the spies continue to report how far the enemy is, Night Sorrow said to Newlin. Second update. Chapter 1180. Commander, I am tailing their troops. They will arrive in 15 minutes. I can feel that these 2 troops are stronger. They should be elites, said the spy standing beside Newlin. This spy was a doppelganger that had gone out to investigate. His real body was reporting the situation. All right, let's see how they're going to enter Blackwater Town. As long as one of them can enter the formation, we won't have too many casualties. If they can't enter the formation, then there's nothing we can do. We'll have to fight to the death. Night Sorrow said. Commander, don't worry. We are prepared for a bloody battle. Newlin nodded. Within Heaven Tiger Pass, and Ning and Wei Wei had a clear division of labor. Each of them was responsible for one side. Wei Wei brought the Ding Xiang army to the defensive stronghold of the Heaven Sealing Formation to monitor the movements of the Red Emperor's army. And Ning brought the recovered and Ping army to the stronghold enveloped by the Heaven Sealing Formation to monitor the movements of the Devil Blood Legion. Tan Lin, who was ignored, returned to the Qing Emperor's palace and went to the Azure Sky Pavilion. Shen Daozi came out and took him inside. What's the situation like right now? Qing Emperor asked Shen Daozi. The situation is surprisingly smooth. It's a great victory. His Highness Night Sorrow led the army to battle and killed 3 troops of the Devil Blood Legion as well as 2 groups of people, said Tan Lin as he bowed. How is the Nine Heavens army? If you've consumed too much, then send the troops from Pine Garden City to replenish it. Qing Emperor stood up and said, I don't know if His Highness Night Sorrow needs more men, but the Nine Heavens army is currently unharmed, Tan Lin reported. You're saying that the Nine Heavens Legion wiped out 3.5 armies of the Devil Blood Legion, and they're still unharmed? Sandalwood was a bit agitated, and the kettle in her hand spilled water all over the table. Percent more #Nizanist? Yes, although the soldiers were very tired and heavily injured, this subordinate did not see many corpses. Tan Lin nodded at Zhan Tan. He knew that the soldiers of the Nine Heavens army were all old brothers of Zhan Tan. Beautiful. You killed 3 armies without any damage. That's a real commander. Qing Emperor praised. Your Majesty, right now, His Highness Night Sorrow is still facing many difficulties. Even though he has destroyed most of the Devil Blood Legion's forces, the Devil Blood Legion still has 6 full legions. In addition, the Red Emperor's kingdom has also sent troops. Right now they are already at Heaven Tiger Pass. The Devil Blood Legion's army has also arrived at Heaven Tiger Pass. That is why I have come back to report this. Tan Lin was still worried. Did Knight Sorrow send you to report? Qing Emperor asked. No, I didn't see His Highness Knight Sorrow. I heard that he was fighting with the soldiers. I was just worried about him, Tan Lin said. Does he know about this situation? Qing Emperor narrowed his eyes and thought for a while before asking. I know. The messenger has already reported it. Tan Lin nodded. Then we don't need to worry about it. Gather the soldiers of Pinyuan City. Use 2 armaments. Also find out more information. Qing Emperor waved his hand and dismissed Tan Lin. Tan Lin laughed. However, the smile on his face soon disappeared. Xian Daozi pointed at the teapot on the table and criticized it again. Knight Sorrow was a bit nervous because the rout of the 2 armies of the Devil Blood Legion would determine how much the Nine Heavens Legion would suffer. Although people would die in war, Knight Sorrow really didn't want to lose the soldiers of the Nine Heavens Legion. After that, New Lin spies reported that the 2 armies of the Devil Blood Legion had split up. One army was heading towards the north gate while the other was heading towards the south gate. Hearing this, Knight Sorrow's eyes lit up. This meant that their chances were much higher because every army would have to face a hidden formation. Sometimes luck was needed in war. When the Devil Blood Legion entered from the south gate and noticed the battlefield, the commander of the Devil Blood Legion shouted, "Don't get close to the battlefield. Go around it after entering the town." However, the battlefield was fake. After they entered the town, they entered the range of the formation. Summer City immediately activated the formation. Knight Sorrow quickly flew back into the illusion formation and opened it. He then ordered the New Lin Legion to attack the Devil Blood Legion at the south gate. More than half of the Devil Blood Legion soldiers were trapped by the formation. At this moment, Wuxia came to report that the formation at the north gate had taken effect. He asked Knight Sorrow to send troops to surround and kill it. Ah, good. Thunder Legion, follow Wuxia to rendezvous with your sovereign. Begin the slaughter. Black Tiger Legion, go to the south gate to assist the New Lin Legion. Knight Sorrow gave the order. After giving the order, Knight Sorrow didn't know which direction to go. Both formations had taken effect. Both sides were stable. Commander, we won again this time. Summer City, who was by Knight Sorrow's side, said with a smile. He knew that luck played a role, but Knight Sorrow's plan was also crucial. Without Knight Sorrow's strategy, luck would have been useless. Damn it. Let's march as fast as we can and surround Blackwater Town. Mo Shui, who was still hurrying along the road, roared angrily. When he heard that his subordinates had been attacked again, he wanted nothing more than to rush to Blackwater Town immediately. However, he still needed 2 hours to get there. Mo Shui hoped that the 2 armies that were currently under attack could hold on and delay Yishang and the others. The 3 armies that he led were completely capable of wiping out the exhausted Nine Heavens Legion. However, Devil Blood didn't have the time. Knight Sorrow arrived at the south gate. Seeing that the battle at the south gate was coming to an end, he opened the Killing Lock formation and started a massacre. He then led his men to the north gate and combined the 3 armies to eliminate the Devil Blood Legion trapped by the formation. Clean up the battlefield in 10 minutes. Then we will return to Heaven Tiger Pass to celebrate. Knight Sorrow wiped his chin. It was a bloodstain because he had been fighting all this time. After cleaning up the battlefield, Knight Sorrow and the others returned to the plaza in front of Blackwater Town. Report. The Devil Blood Legion's 3 armies are still 10 minutes away from here. Commander, please retreat quickly, the scout beside Rage Qilin reported. Your scouting mission is complete. Your clones won't be able to meet up with us in time. Going to Heaven Tiger Pass is also not feasible. All the scouts' clones will return to the Empire and go to Heaven Tiger Pass from the 9-layer pavilion. Thank you for your hard work. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands towards the scout. He then activated the illusory killing formation and ordered the troops to teleport to Heaven Tiger Pass. At this moment, Knight Sorrow wasn't in a hurry. So what if the Devil Blood Legion's 3 armies arrived? With the killing formation blocking them, the Nine Heavens Legion could easily retreat. The Nine Heavens Legion quickly teleported back to the Heaven Tiger Pass. When only the Thunder Legion remained, Mo Shui led his men to the town square and began attacking the Deathtrap array. At this moment, Qin Leiting came to Knight Sorrow's side and said, "Commander, please leave first. I will send men of sacrifice to cover the rear. No one needs to stay behind. I will set up a spirit explosion formation. After we leave, this place will be destroyed. They won't be able to do anything. Hurry up and leave. Night Sorrow shook his head at Qin Leitang. Then I will leave first. Qin Leitang led his men to the teleportation formation. Outside Heaven Tiger Pass teleportation formation, Tan Lin was anxiously pacing around. All the soldiers had returned, but Night Sorrow's commander was nowhere to be seen. What if something happened? He had just received news that Night Sorrow and the others had destroyed 2 more armies. However, the Devil Blood Legion's 3 armies had also arrived. Chapter 1181. At this time, Night Sorrow and Summer City appeared on the teleportation array. After appearing, Night Sorrow did not look at anyone. His eyes were fixed on the teleportation array. When he noticed that one of the teleportation crystals on the teleportation array had been destroyed, he relaxed. The effect of the spirit explosion array was good. It would destroy all the teleportation crystals on the teleportation array. Angry Lin Army, go stand guard in front of the Sealing Heaven formation. Dingxiang Army, withdraw. Gather in front of the Sealing Heaven formation and prepare for battle. After 15 minutes, the Thunderbolt Army, Dingxiang Army, Black Tiger Army, and Anping Army will follow me to battle. Yishang turned around and gave another order. Hearing Night Sorrow's order, everyone was stunned. They did not know where Night Sorrow was going to attack. The original version. Everyone is very tired. I can understand. However, this is the best opportunity. The Devil Blood Legion still has 5 armies left. 3 of them are in the distant Blackwater town, and 2 of them are right below our Heaven Tiger Pass. Should we eat? Night Sorrow looked at the confused soldiers and asked loudly. What answered Night Sorrow was an angry roar. Send out resources to replenish our cultivation. Recover at all costs. Night Sorrow instructed Angry Lin and Anping, who were in charge of managing the resources, before sitting down to recover. Tan Lin's body was trembling. He was a little scared. What kind of commander was this? What kind of soldier was this? The commander had arranged the strategy and tactics to the extreme. The exhausted soldiers were still in high spirits. A quarter of an hour later, everyone stood up. It was already night. The night wind was blowing, but everyone's backs were straight. I hope that everyone can survive. I hope that every battle will be a battle without losses. This is my dream. However, sometimes there is a gap between dreams and reality. This is helpless. In the next battle, everyone must take care of yourselves and the brothers by your side. Every brother has a family and they can't fall. Using their arms, shoulders, and bodies to exchange for the lives of their brothers is worth it. Brothers, don't be afraid. As long as we have brothers, we don't have to worry about what's behind us. We can charge forward with an indomitable will. You will see me, Night Sorrow, on the way forward. Night Sorrow said as he pointed his void splitter at the sky. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, the soldiers pounded their chest armor again and again because they couldn't find words to describe their feelings. They wore the same battle suits and had the same ideals. They were fellow soldiers. Night Sorrow was talking about the feelings between fellow soldiers. Night Sorrow brought his men to the Heaven Lock Matrix. He activated the Heaven Lock Matrix and opened the gate of Heaven Tiger Pass. At this time, 4 torrents appeared behind him and entered the darkness. Then there was the sound of weapons clashing and blood spraying in the night. Hong Yi Laning beat the drums and cheer. Night Sorrow's body flashed and he joined the battle. He killed the 2 shadow armies of the Devil Blood Legion. The darkness could only affect ordinary people. This was a battle where the weakest cultivator was a saint. It had no effect at all. Tan Lin ran back to report because he hoped that the Qing Emperor would be able to witness such a battle. Hong Yi and Lan Ying beat the drums on the left and right of Heaven Tiger Pass. Hong Yi was singing the song Comrades Love, amidst the drumming. Jiu Wui? Together with my son. King Yu, repair my spear and spear. Together with my son. Jiu Wui? Together with my son. King Yu, repair my spear and halberd. Together with my son. Jiu Wui? Together with my son. King Yu, repair my armor and weapons. Together with my son. The Qing Emperor appeared with Xian Daozi and Zhan Tan. There were also some officials. Qing Lin and Qing Wan were also there. They were originally in the military. When the Qing Emperor came, he brought them with him. There were no roars or shouts in the darkness. There was only the sound of weapons clashing. Both sides seemed to have a tacit understanding. They clenched their teeth and killed. Either you die or I die. The battle lasted for 2 hours before it ended. Night Sorrow carried the heavily injured Achio and returned to Heaven Tiger Pass with the other soldiers of the 9 Heavens Legion. After bowing slightly to the Qing Emperor, Night Sorrow looked behind him. And Ning, none of them escaped. They all died in battle. This is worthy of respect. Go and bury them. Erect a monument. Call it the 1,000 Heroes' Grave. Treat the heavily injured Thunder General. Place the corpses of the dead in the martial arts arena. Hong Yi helped Achio to the side. At this time, everyone saw that Night Sorrow's body was also covered in wounds. His battle robes were torn and stained with blood. Master, I won, but I'm not in a good mood. Night Sorrow looked at the Qing Emperor and said, I understand. You guys go and recuperate. I'll wait for you in the commander's office. The Qing Emperor was also touched. He also understood why his children couldn't do what Night Sorrow could do. After counting the number of people, Night Sorrow felt a little bitter. This was because the Nine Heavens Legion had lost 1,000 people. Although it was a small number, Night Sorrow felt very bad. Because in the first 2 hours they were all alive. Men, bring wine. Send my brothers off. Night Sorrow roared. Qing Lin, Qing Wan, do you understand where the difference is? In the commander's office, the Qing Emperor looked at Qing Lin and Qing Wan. We understand. Both Qing Lin and Qing Wan bowed. Back then you guys couldn't compare to Sandalwood. What you lacked was cultivation and vigor. Sandalwood fought every battle. Today Night Sorrow was the same. You guys saw it with your own eyes. You didn't have enough ideals and didn't understand your fellow soldiers well enough. If you didn't understand, you would never reach Night Sorrow's level. Tomorrow, as the sun rises, Night Sorrow's name will be known throughout the world. Father hopes to hear such a person's name one day. The Qing Emperor looked at Qing Lin and Qing Wan and said. Night Sorrow stood on the training ground and looked at the 1,000 corpses. He felt a little emotional. He knew this was war, but he couldn't accept it. The Qing Emperor brought people over. It's the fate of soldiers to die on the battlefield. The Qing Emperor's dynasty will take care of everything. Night Sorrow turned around and bowed to the Qing Emperor. He then nodded to Nu Lin. Inform their families to come and see them one last time. Then bury them and erect a tombstone. 1,000 blazed tombstone. Yes. Nu Lin nodded. And Ping, the dynasty's funeral arrangements are the dynasty's business. There are some things that the brothers of the Nine Heavens Army will do for them. Give some resources to their families. If there are children or old people who need to be taken care of, the Nine Heavens Army will provide for them. Also, send orders to build an area in the Nine Heavens Tower to provide for the descendants of our fallen brothers. Night Sorrow gave an order to Ping. The Qing Emperor and Shen Daozi both nodded. They knew that Night Sorrow's arrangements would make the Nine Heavens Army more cohesive. The Qing Emperor left because there was nothing for him to do here. Night Sorrow made the necessary arrangements. The Qing Emperor brought people to the military department. Tan Lin, you heard Night Sorrow's words. The military department will cooperate with these matters. Reward the Nine Heavens Army with 200,000 Saint Crystals and a military base. The land beside the Nine Heavens Tower will be requisitioned and given to the Nine Heavens Army. In addition, from today onwards, all the armies of the Empire will be under the command of Commander Night Sorrow. The Qing Emperor gave an order. Fourth update. Chapter 1182. Qing Lin and Qing Wan bowed. Night Sorrow's power could not be suppressed, and they could not suppress him anymore. They had to obey the Emperor's orders. Don't be unconvinced. You have to admit defeat. The children of the Qing Emperor can afford to lose. The Qing Emperor looked at Qing Lin and Qing Wan. I will apologize to Night Sorrow face to face. Qing Lin bowed. Qing Wan also expressed her attitude. Night Sorrow's achievements and ability were beyond their reach. Since the Qing Emperor supported Night Sorrow's ascension, they had to obey and assist him. The world was shocked. The Nine Heavens Legion had paid the price of 1 soldier to destroy 7 legions of the Devil Blood Legion. This was a battle record that no one could help but admire. In the dark abyss, Datura sat in the main seat in the White Bone Hall, playing with a black jade in his hand. After a moment of silence, Datura raised his head and looked at Devil Blood. Devil Blood, tell me what happened. This subordinate was careless and was schemed against by Night Sorrow. Before this subordinate could react, the legion was crippled. Devil Blood knelt on one knee and said, hand the remaining 3 legions to the Bloodthirsty Legion and go receive your punishment. Datura coldly snorted. Devil Blood bowed and left. He knew that Datura was already being merciful by not taking his life on the spot. Ruler, according to the records, Night Sorrow is adept at fighting and commanding battles. His ability to command is extremely high. Rowan bowed and said, "That's why I didn't take Devil Blood's life. Bloodthirsty, do you dare to accept this mission?" Datura looked at a man. He was the commander of another legion, the Bloodthirsty Legion. "This subordinate accepts. I will definitely make the Dark Abyss famous." Bloodthirsty stepped forward and said, "Good. I have a few words of advice for you." Night Sorrow was able to take down Heaven Tiger Pass and cripple the Devil Blood Legion in 3 days. In terms of strategy and tactics, ordinary people would find it hard to compare to him. Right now, your greatest advantage is that you have a lot of soldiers. Use brute force to fight. That is, fight head-on. Don't give him a chance to use his strategy, Datura instructed Shishue. Shishue bowed and left. He knew that he had to be careful. Mo Shue had been defeated, and he couldn't follow in his footsteps. The Red Emperor's troops outside the Heaven Tiger Pass had retreated far away. Chiwa had already received the news that the Devil Blood Legion's 7 legions had been wiped out by Night Sorrow. He only brought 4 legions with him and didn't dare to get too close to the Heaven Tiger Pass. He was worried that Night Sorrow would devour them. Night Sorrow calmed down for 2 days, and only then did his mood improve because he still had to fight. Qing Lin and Qing Wan also went to the Heaven Tiger Pass to visit Night Sorrow. Now that Night Sorrow was the #1 commander of the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Qing Lin and Qing Wan had to listen to his orders. The 3 of them sat in the commander's office. Qing Lin and Qing Wan expressed their apologies. They could think it through. If they couldn't win, then they had to admit it. Also, when they saw Night Sorrow lead the troops to battle, they were wholeheartedly convinced. This time the Dark Abyss has been hurt. They won't take this lying down. They will definitely send a large army forward. Therefore, the pressure on your side will be great, Night Sorrow said to the 2. We're not afraid. If they dare to come, then we dare to fight. However, if they send out a regular legion, 10 legions, the pressure will be greater, Qing Lin said. The Qing Wan Legion was different from the 9 Heavens Legion. The 9 Heavens Legion had Heaven Tiger Pass to defend it, but the Qing Wan Legion couldn't. Send word to the messengers at any time. If they come to fight, we'll see how it goes, Night Sorrow said. Qing Lin and Qing Wan nodded and left the commander's office. When Night Sorrow sent them out, Qing Wan hesitated for a moment and bowed to Night Sorrow. Previously, I was not magnanimous enough to target you. I'm sorry. It's nothing. Let bygones be bygones. Night Sorrow shook his head. After Qing Lin and Qing Wan left, Night Sorrow went to a few more barracks to take a look before teleporting to the 9 heavenly floors. At this time, the officials of the Qing Emperor's palace also arrived and announced the latest appointment of the Qing Emperor. Night Sorrow was appointed as the Imperial Army's Jidushi. In other words, other than Night Sorrow's 9 Heavens Legion, he also controlled the Lin Wan Legion. Night Sorrow took the token to the Azure Sky Pavilion. He didn't want to take this job. He didn't want to control anyone. He just wanted to do his own thing. Xian Daozi led Night Sorrow into the Azure Sky Pavilion. I knew you would come. Sit down and drink some tea. Let's see how good your senior brother's tea is. The Qing Emperor pointed to the praying mat next to Sandalwood. After taking a sip of Sandalwood's tea, Night Sorrow smiled. The water is too rushed. It's too rough. Let me do it. Sandalwood pouted. He really wasn't good at this. As Night Sorrow brewed the tea, the Qing Emperor asked, You don't want to be the army's Jidushi? Yes, I just want to do my own thing. Night Sorrow nodded as he brewed the tea. Ask Qing Lin and Qing Wan if they want to do it. Back then, even your senior brother didn't reach this position. The Qing Emperor said. Harmony in the empire is very important. Although I don't really like Qing Lin and Qing Wan, I don't want them to be estranged. It's enough for everyone to do their own thing. Night Sorrow expressed his opinion. You have the ability to reduce the empire's casualties. Is this reason enough? The Qing Emperor said. If Master says so, then I have no choice but to accept. Night Sorrow nodded. Even if you didn't come, I would have told you to come. The bloodthirsty Legion of the Dark Abyss has already received orders to go to war. This is a huge test for the Empire's army. In many years, the Dark Abyss has never been as crazy as this. The last time they fought like this, I had no choice but to send the Qing Emperor's guard to deal with it. The Qing Emperor said. Sending another legion to war? I don't think they'll give me a chance to use my strategy. After suffering a loss, they'll definitely gather and fight us head-on. However, under such circumstances, no matter how we use our military power, it's not enough. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, That's right, we don't have enough military power. What do you think? The Qing Emperor asked. Look at chapter 1 of the original version. The enemy has 10 legions each. Including the 3 remaining legions of the Devil's Blood Legion, they have 13 legions. Our Nine Heavens Legion has 5 legions and the Lin Wan Legion has 6 legions. If we fight them head-on we might be able to take them down, but the price we'll pay will be very heavy. Our Qing Emperor's dynasty is different from the Dark Abyss. The Dark Abyss has a lot of dark warriors but we can't afford to lose them. If we increase our military power, then it won't be a problem to surround and intercept them. Knight Sorrow thought for a moment and said, Then I'll form 2 more legions for you. If it's still not enough, then the Qing Emperor's Imperial Guard will also be at your disposal. Just one request, you can't let the Dark Abyss wreak havoc in our Qing Emperor's dynasty. You have to be domineering. The Dark Abyss is such a big battle, but it's also a battle between me and Dachura. The Qing Emperor said. Disciple understands. I'll handle this matter well. Since others have declared war, we naturally have to accept. In addition, Disciple also wants to know the situation of the Red Emperor's empire. Master, can you tell the intelligence department to send me a copy of the information on the Red Emperor's empire in the Dark Abyss? Knight Sorrow asked. Knight Sorrow arrived at Sky Tiger Pass and mobilized 2 companies from the Thunder Army to guide the 2 armies sent by Pine Forest Garden in their joint attack formation. These 2 armies were also given names, the Swift Wind Army and the Qishan Army. Blast, Qi Wang, the 2 armies under your command don't have much time to train. Hurry up and integrate them. If you work harder now, you'll have a better chance of survival when the time comes, Knight Sorrow said to Blast and Qi Wang. Blast and Qi Wang nodded. They knew that this was a critical period and they didn't have much time to train or rest. It would be good if they could get used to the joint attack formation as soon as possible and increase their survival ability. In addition, Knight Sorrow ordered the 5 armies in Sky Tiger Pass to quickly reorganize. The battle a few days ago had consumed a lot of everyone's energy. That Knight Sorrow was studying the joint attack formation when Green Qilin and Green Luan came. Knight Sorrow had given the Nine Heavens Army the joint attack formation of 3 to 6 people. He was now studying the joint attack formation of 7 to 9 people. It wasn't difficult to cultivate it, but it needed to be powerful. This required some difficulty. Seeing the arrival of Green Qilin and Green Luan, Knight Sorrow put away his brush and nodded to the 2. Commander Knight Sorrow, the bloodthirsty army is about to arrive at the border. Their target is Fragrant Sky City. That used to be Green Luan's defense area. Now that they have 13 armies, I can't stop them, Green Luan said. Even if you can, you'll suffer heavy losses. They don't care, but we can't. So we have to make a choice in our battle strategy. How about this? Before they arrive, you guys should take the initiative to attack the Dark Abyss cities at the border. This way, they won't have the energy to cause trouble in the Qing Emperor's dynasty, Knight Sorrow said. That's a good idea. The previous battles were all small groups. We can fight head-on. This time, if we really can't, we'll follow Commander Knight Sorrow's plan, Green Qilin stood up and said. Send out the fastest troops and leave as soon as the battle is over. Don't give the enemy a chance to surround us. Otherwise we'll be annihilated. Also, send someone to send military reports to the Nine Heavens Tower every day. I'll use the battle strategy according to the situation, Knight Sorrow said. Okay. Green Qilin and Green Luan cupped their hands at Knight Sorrow and left the Nine Heavens Tower. Before they came, they were worried because the situation had never been so bad before. Original / In terms of battle strategy, we're not as good as him. We could fight head-on in the previous battles. Now that the Dark Abyss is attacking, we really can't handle it, Green Luan said. That's right. The last time there was a crisis like this, it was Father's Qing Emperor's Guard who dealt with it. This time we might not need the Qing Emperor's Guard. We have to acknowledge Knight Sorrow's commanding ability. Green Qilin nodded. Knight Sorrow cultivated every day. He cultivated battle skills and the Great Emperor Samsara / His Great Emperor Samsara / had already taken shape and was very powerful. It was even more powerful than all of Knight Sorrow's battle skills. Moreover, it was a Saint King grade Great Emperor Samsara / because it had only fused 3 attributes at the level of laws. Jun Xuanji was very busy. The Qing Emperor's dynasty's intelligence network was very developed. There was a lot of information sent to him every day. Jun Xuanji summarized the information and reported it to Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow was not in a hurry. If the Nine Heavens Army did not move, the bloodthirsty legion would not dare to act rashly. Otherwise they would easily suffer losses. The bloodthirsty legion chased after the Lin Yuan legion every day, planning to destroy the Lin Yuan legion that was harassing the border of the Dark Abyss. The bloodthirsty legion had 13 legions. Dan bloodthirsty legion only dared to split into 2 groups. The target was too obvious and could not be surrounded. Bloodthirsty legion did not dare to split into more groups because they had not seen the Nine Heavens army yet. The strongest force in the Qing Emperor's dynasty was the Nine Heavens army. Now that the strongest Nine Heavens army had not appeared, Bloodthirsty Legion was very worried that the Nine Heavens army would jump out and deal a fatal blow to him. Seeing the report, the Qing Emperor smiled and threw the battle report to Xian Daozi. See this? The Nine Heavens army did not come out, but the Bloodthirsty Legion did not dare to act rashly. They are very cautious. This is fear in their hearts. Xian Daozi looked at the battle report and said, "That's enough deterrence. He won't dare to act recklessly. Knight Sorrow won't make a move, but if he does, he'll take his life. The Dark Abyss can't afford to lose. If the Bloodthirsty Legion is wiped out, they won't be able to play anymore." Chapter 1184. The Dark Abyss had 3 legions: the Fiend Blood Legion, the Bloodthirsty Legion, and the Devil Blood Legion. The Devil Blood Legion had already been destroyed. If the Bloodthirsty Legion was also destroyed, the strength of the Dark Abyss would plummet. This was something the Dark Dominator would not allow. Qing Lin and Qing Wan don't have such a strategy. They must have asked Knight Sorrow for advice. Only by working together can they survive this crisis. Qing Emperor nodded. However, Datura isn't the type to suffer losses. She probably won't tolerate this. Xian Daozi said. There's another possibility. Assassination. Shadow Guards. Send a small team to the 9 Grand Floors. Xian Daozi, make a trip to the Profound Sky World and inform them. If anything happens, inform us immediately. Qing Emperor thought for a moment and nodded. He understood Datura very well. It wasn't Datura's character to keep quiet after suffering losses. Knight Sorrow waited for the Bloodthirsty Legion to split up. If they didn't split up, they wouldn't be able to do anything to the Lin Yuan Legion. Knight Sorrow didn't believe that the Dark Abyss could continue to suffer losses. Knight Sorrow would check on the training of the troops every day, especially the newly joined Storm Legion and Mountain Legion. In addition, Knight Sorrow gave Nu Lin and Qin Leitang the newly developed combined attack formation for them to practice first. Nu Lin and Qin Leitang also wanted to see if there were any flaws. Qing Lin and Qing Wan's messengers also reported to Knight Sorrow every day. Knight Sorrow would look at the map and plan the attack route for the Lin Yuan Legion to execute. This was to beat around the bush with the Bloodthirsty Legion. More than 10 days passed. The Bloodthirsty Legion was still the same. Seeing that the situation wasn't good enough, the Bloodthirsty Legion didn't split up. Knight Sorrow also sent out the Thunder Legion to attack according to his plan. He didn't believe that the Bloodthirsty Legion could hold on. Even if they could, he believed that the public opinion of the Dark Abyss would pressure them. On the 3rd day after the Thunder Army was mobilized, the Dark Abyss held a meeting in the White Bone Palace because the Dark Abyss was at an absolute disadvantage. After reading the battle report, Datura raised her head. No one could see the expression on her face under the veil, but Rowan and the others knew that Datura was on the verge of exploding with rage. Overlord, the Qing Emperor appointed Knight Sorrow as the Qing Emperor's Imperial Army Regional Commander. This means that the Green Qilin Army and the Green Phoenix Army are currently executing his strategy, Rowan said. He's a tough guy. The Qing Emperor has found a treasure. Shishue isn't his match either. Inform Shishue that we can't fight this war according to his pace. If we do, we will only lose. Tell Shishue to gather the army and head straight for Fragrant Sky City of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Once we take down Fragrant Sky City, we'll see if they can still hold on, Datura said. I'll inform them immediately, Rowan nodded. Tell the Law Hall to waive Demon Blood's punishment. This guy is hard to deal with. It's not Demon Blood's fault that the Demon Blood Legion lost. Also, inform Shishue to see if Fragrant Sky City is easy to take. If it's not, then use the same strategy as them and attack the borders of the Qing Emperor's dynasty. Let's see who's mobilizing and who's running for their lives. Also, have Shishue report to us immediately if there's any battle report. Don't make any decisions on your own, Datura ordered. She understood Knight Sorrow's strategy. Night Sorrow was drinking tea in the Nine Chong building when he heard Jun Xuanji's report. He was stunned for a moment. The enemy has also changed their commander. Shishua didn't use this strategy before. Pass down my orders to inform the Green Chilan Army and the Green Phoenix Army to leave some people behind to continue harassing the enemy. The main force is to return and hide 1,000 miles away from Fragrant Sky City. Also, inform the Swift Wind Army to station at Heaven Tiger Pass and the Calm Peace Army to guard Heaven Tiger Pass. The Thunder Army is to return and prepare for battle. Your Highness, is the situation very serious? Summer City asked. Yes. Now that they've changed their strategy, we need to find a countermeasure. Night Sorrow nodded and walked towards the teleportation array. He knew that this was another crucial moment that would decide the outcome of the battle. Night Sorrow brought Summer City, Hong Yi, Lan Ying, and Qing Emperor's Guardian Squad to Fragrant Sky City. Greetings, Your Highness. Fragrant Sky City's mayor and garrison army's commander came to greet Night Sorrow. Original B version are release, bring me the map of Fragrant Sky City. Night Sorrow sat on the main seat in the mayor's mansion. Fragrant Sky City's mayor brought over the map of Fragrant Sky City. After looking at the map, Yi Shan raised his head and looked at the city lord and the garrison commander. I'm very sorry, but from the current situation, regardless of whether we win or lose, Fragrant Sky City will be damaged. Your Highness, please don't say that. If you have any orders, we'll immediately carry them out. Fragrant Sky City's mayor and garrison army's commander bowed. Order all non-combat personnel to evacuate. We'll temporarily give up on Fragrant Sky City. However, if the Bloodthirsty Legion wants to take it back, they'll have to pay a price. Night Sorrow ordered. Fragrant Sky City's mayor and garrison army's commander went to make the arrangements. It was difficult to evacuate personnel in an ordinary city, but not in Fragrant Sky City. Most of the people in Fragrant Sky City were family members of the garrison army. Your Highness, are you going to have a decisive battle with them here? Summer City asked. Decisive battle? No, I'm not going to have a decisive battle with anyone. Didn't they want to attack? It's worth it to use Fragrant Sky City to cut off their flesh. Behind us is Fragrant Jade City. Hong Yi, pass my order to Fragrant Jade City's troops to prepare to evacuate. Night Sorrow threw his token to Hong Yi. After leaving the mayor's mansion, Night Sorrow began to set up the array. Seeing Night Sorrow setting up the array, Summer City shook his head. He knew that the Bloodthirsty Legion was in trouble. Night Sorrow not only had a good sense of strategy, but he was also a Heavenly Array Master. Heavenly Array Masters were good at tricking people. Your Highness, you've used up a lot of Holy Spirit stones in this battle. Summer City, who was following Night Sorrow, saw Night Sorrow constantly throwing out Holy Spirit stones. Holy Spirit stones aren't as important as human lives. Moreover, the dynasty acknowledged this consumption and compensated me last time. By the way, Uncle Summer, why didn't you give me a reward for crippling the Devil Blood Legion? Night Sorrow asked while setting up the array. Didn't you get a reward? Only Your Highness can ask such a question. Go to the Merit Hall of Emperor Qing's palace and ask. How many merit points do you have now? After a battle, the number of merit points a legion's commander-in-chief and general can get is determined by the military department and approved by His Majesty himself. The Qing Emperor's palace has already recorded it for you. Summer City shook his head helplessly. Night Sorrow was an expert in many areas, but he was an idiot when it came to common sense. That's good. Don't make me work for nothing. Night Sorrow said while setting up the array. Your Highness, how big are you going to set up this array? Summer City asked when he saw Night Sorrow setting up the array around the inner wall of the city. They still need at least a day to reach here. I have enough time to set up a killing array and prepare a feast for them. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Seems like I have to be careful. You've tricked the Dark Abyss. It would be strange if they don't want to kill Your Highness. Summer City realized. Chapter 1185. It's not a personal grudge. It's a war. You don't need to assassinate me, right? Night Sorrow said. Many things can't be reasoned with. Didn't the Crimson Emperor country place a bounty of 1,000,000 merit points on you? Xia Qing shook his head. He was a veteran of the world of reincarnation. He was very clear about some of the ways and means in the world of reincarnation. I don't care about that now. Let's deal with the Bloodthirsty Legion first. Night Sorrow continued to set up the formation. Summer City followed Night Sorrow. Fei Xiao and the Qing Emperor's Guardian Squad also followed. Sometimes Hong Yi and Lan Ning would serve them tea. Night Sorrow set up the formation in Tianxiang Town. He wanted to turn Tianxiang Town into the grave of the bloodthirsty legion. After spending a day to take care of the fragrant sky town, Yishang set up an illusion array inside and outside the town. Then he mobilized his troops and hoarded them inside the town. Then Night Sorrow summoned Qing Lin, Qing Wan, and all the generals to Tianxiang City's City Lord Mansion. "Commander, what do you plan to do next?" Nu Lin asked. "Qing Lin, Qing Wan, I'll take command from now on." Night Sorrow looked at Qing Lin and Qing Wan. "Commander Knight, just give the order." Qing Lin nodded. He could only follow orders now. If he didn't, he wouldn't be able to defeat the enemy. Qing Wan also cupped her hands to Night Sorrow. "Then I'll assign a task. We'll take down a part of the bloodthirsty legion in Tianxiang Town. This used to be Qing Wan's base. We, the Nine Heavens Legion, will not show up. Later, Qing Lin and Qing Wan, you two will fight them head-on. Let them know that we're going to defend. If they really attack, we'll fight them. Then retreat into Tianxiang Town and wait for orders." Night Sorrow ordered Qing Lin and Qing Wan. Qing Lin and Qing Wan nodded. "Next up is the killing mission. There are two possibilities now. First, if they really charge in, then we will kill as many as they charge in. If they don't, then we will just drag it out. If they want to attack, they can't just leave the Heavenly Fragrance Town alone. They can't afford to lose face either. Moreover, our men and horses are in the illusory array," Night Sorrow said. He had estimated that as long as Qing Lin and the Qing Wan army appeared, without seeing the Nine Heavens army, there was no way that the Crimson Blood army wouldn't give chase and take down the Sky Fragrance Town. The Dark Abyss had suffered too many losses recently. The Qilin army and the Thunder Legion had destroyed many of their defensive cities. They could not take this lying down. Night Sorrow had set up several illusion arrays in the Heavenly Fragrance Town, as well as some individual trap and kill arrays. In other words, as long as the Bloodthirsty Legion entered the town, the Heavenly Fragrance Town would be isolated from the outside world. Of course, they could use the teleportation array, but Night Sorrow wouldn't give them the opportunity to set up the teleportation array. After receiving Night Sorrow's order, the Qilin army arrived at the north gate of the Heavenly Fragrance Town, waiting for the Bloodthirsty Legion to arrive and attack. Night Sorrow was considering whether he should set up the array in the Fragrant Jade City, but he felt that it wasn't necessary for the time being. Perhaps the Bloodthirsty Legion would be able to decide whether to attack or not in the Heavenly Fragrance Town. Night Sorrow used more than a day to set up the array, spending more than 10,000 Saint Spirit stones. At this time, the Bloodthirsty Legion had also arrived at the Heavenly Fragrance Town. Riding on the two-headed dark flood dragon, Bloodthirsty Legion pointed his sword at Qing Lin, who was standing on top of the Heavenly Fragrance Town's defensive tower. "You can't do it. Get Night Sorrow out here." You talk big. But haven't you been the one suffering losses recently?" Qing Lin replied. "Schemes and tricks. But from today onwards, I won't give you the chance to do so. I will crush you with force." Bloodthirsty Legion looked at Qing Lin and said. Recently, he had been very sullen because chasing after the Qilin army was exhausting. He couldn't predict the Qilin army's movements, so he couldn't surround and intercept them. Chapter 50, Section R of the original version. "Come. Let's see if I'm afraid of you. Brothers, prepare for battle." Qing Lin roared. "Your Highness, I'm afraid the Qilin army will suffer some losses." Summer City, who was drinking tea with Night Sorrow, said. He could see that the Bloodthirsty Legion soldiers were at a higher level than the Qilin army. "There's no other way. If we retreat without fighting, the Bloodthirsty Legion won't send anyone to attack. If we don't take risks, we won't be able to catch the wolf. Besides, if we retreat as soon as we attack, even if there are losses, the losses won't be too great." Night Sorrow nodded. Qing Lin and Qing Wan understood Night Sorrow and Summer City's point of view, but they didn't complain. This was their defensive zone. Night Sorrow was willing to help and shoulder the responsibility. This was already very generous of him. Moreover, this tactical arrangement was also the most suitable one. If the Nine Heavens army was here, the Bloodthirsty Legion would definitely be cautious. It was hard to say whether or not they would enter the Heavenly Fragrance Town. In the Azure Sky Pavilion, Qing Emperor was also reading the battle report. "It seems like the Dark Abyss has changed their commander. Now they're forcing the Qing Emperor's dynasty to fight them head-on." Qing Emperor said. "This is the most shameless part of them. They think the Dark Abyss has more soldiers and can afford to exhaust them. Now, I don't know how Night Sorrow will deal with this problem." Chapter 1186. Hearing the order, the Lin Yuan army quickly retreated. Qing Lin and Qing Yuan led their personal guards and retreated as well. It's too late to retreat now. Bite them and kill them all. Shishue waved his sword and gave the order. Qing Lin and Qing Yuan quickly retreated with their men. At the same time, they shouted for the Heavenly Fragrance Town to close the defensive formation. However, it was already too late because the three armies of the Bloodthirsty Army and the Lin Yuan army were fighting together. In addition, another army had also arrived. A large group of people rolled into the town. There are too many of them. It'll be difficult to deal with them. Let's take these four armies. Night Sorrow exited the illusion formation and appeared at the entrance of Tianxiang town in a flash. Shishue, why aren't you charging? Actually, the one I wanted to kill today was you. If you didn't come, I, Night Sorrow, will take these four armies. Night Sorrow waved his arm and activated the formation. A mist of energy filled the air and enveloped Tianxiang town. Then Night Sorrow opened the illusion formation. The Nine Heavens army went out and began to slaughter the Bloodthirsty army. At this time, the 11 armies of the Qing Emperor's Imperial Army were inside Tianxiang town. They were the absolute main force of the Qing Emperor's Imperial Army. Shishue's expression changed. He had been very careful, but he had still fallen into a trap. With a loud roar, Shishue led his men and began to attack the formation. If it was a while ago, Night Sorrow's formation skills wouldn't have been able to withstand such an attack. However, after studying the Heaven Sealing Formation and Heaven Sealing Formation, his formation skills had increased exponentially. He didn't expect to be able to stop the Bloodthirsty army. As long as he could hold them off for 2 hours, it would be enough. 2 hours was enough. Shishue led his men and charged at the Heaven Sealing Formation. They attacked continuously, constantly depleting the formation's energy. Night Sorrow was inside the formation, adjusting the formation's defenses. Wherever the formation's energy was about to run out, he would replenish it with Holy Spirit stones. At this time, the Darkness Sovereign also received the news. Idiot! Yuan Jinzi, you go. There's a Heavenly Formation Master over there. Shishue can't do without a Heavenly Formation Master. Also, tell Shishue that if he can't break through the formation within 2 hours, he's to retreat immediately. In 2 hours, 4 armies have been devoured. Night Sorrow, you're ruthless. Dachura's slender fingers exerted force and the black jade stone in his hand shattered. Rowan and the others were shocked because that was the jade stone that Dachura was extremely fond of. Now that it had been destroyed, it was clear how furious he was. Brothers, hurry up and kill them. After Night Sorrow arranged for the army to prepare for war, he went to the top of the city gate and sat on a deck chair, eating fruits and looking outside the city. Shishue broke through the array and entered Fragrant Sky Town. What he saw was a massacre. The ground was littered with the corpses of Shishue's soldiers. Shishue angrily led the remaining 9 soldiers to Fragrant Jade City. Night Sorrow, I'll kill you. Shishue roared outside Fragrant Jade City. You came a little later than I expected. If you want to kill me, you can. I'm right here. Bring it on. Night Sorrow said while eating fruits. Don't be too arrogant. Shishue's eyes were bloodshot. For soldiers. He had lost 4 soldiers in 2 hours. This made him extremely angry. However, he didn't lose his mind. He had to consider what had happened in Fragrant Sky Town. I'll be arrogant today. I've destroyed 7 soldiers of the Devil Blood Legion and 4 of your Shishue Legion. I, Night Sorrow, have the right to be arrogant. What can you do to me? Night Sorrow stood up. Dark Abyss, in the Great Hall of Bones, the Darkness Dominator listened to the messenger's report. She didn't say anything because she couldn't tell whether Fragrant Jade City was real or not. Mandela felt that Yishang was most likely bluffing, but it was also possible that he was trying to provoke them. However, Mandela knew that even if Yishang was bluffing, the Bloodthirsty Legion only had 9 troops. They would not have an advantage in a head-on battle. Shishue waited for the Darkness Dominator's orders. Without orders he couldn't move. Night Sorrow's strategy was too terrifying. You don't want to kill me? Then let's rest for a while before we kill you. Night Sorrow went down the tower after speaking. Commander, what should we do now? Qinglin asked. We didn't have time before. Now we need to set up some defenses. Then we'll see what they do and come up with a countermeasure. However, I feel that they won't attack so easily. They only have 9 soldiers. They don't have any advantage. Let's see what the Darkness Dominator will do, Night Sorrow said. That woman is very scary, Summer City said. Chapter 1187. The Dark Ruler is a woman? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. Yes, she's a powerful, scheming, and domineering woman. She's the #1 woman in the world of reincarnation. Summer City nodded. Women are good at scheming. We should be careful. Night Sorrow nodded. What are you talking about? Lan Ning glanced at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow raised his head and found several sharp gazes looking at him. Hong Yi, Lan Ning, and Qing Wan were all looking at him. I don't mean what you think. What I mean is that women are meticulous and think things through carefully, so we have to be careful. I don't mean anything else. What are you thinking? Yishan said, somewhat speechless. Night Sorrow then went down the city walls and set up some formations. It wasn't a trap, but it would definitely be effective in a big battle. After setting up the formations, Night Sorrow patrolled the city and asked about the losses. Night Sorrow then learned that they had lost 2 armies. The main reason was that the Lin Yuan army had started to suffer heavy losses. After writing the battle report, Night Sorrow went up to the city gates. When the Dark Ruler gives the order, I'll slaughter your fragrant Jade City. Seeing Night Sorrow's carefree attitude, Shishue was filled with anger. Idiot. When you attacked just now, I didn't put up any defenses. But you didn't dare. Why don't you try attacking me now? Let's see if you'll abandon another 4 armies. Night Sorrow sneered. Shishue was so angry that his head buzzed. But he didn't dare to attack just now, and there was no news from the Bone Palace. Shishue's messenger also passed the news to the Great Bone Hall. Human nature. Once he understands the worries and misgivings of others, the war won't be easy to fight. Rowan, send someone to kill that guy. Then we'll fight again. With this thorn in our side, we won't be a match for him. The Darkness Lord made his decision after hearing the messenger's words. Then what about the Shishue army? Rowan asked. Most new chapter and /section F super retreat to Blackwater Town. We'll fight after this brat dies. Datura ordered. Shishue retreated with the Shishue army because he couldn't take down Fragrant Sky City. Night Sorrow nodded to Qing Wan, send the news back to the Empire. Unless there are any changes or they come up with a plan, the situation will return to how it was before. The Bloodthirsty Legion retreated. After confirming that the Bloodthirsty Legion had returned to Blackwater Town, Night Sorrow led his men back to the 9-story tower and Heaven Tiger Pass. In the Azure Sky Pavilion, the Azure Supreme the Arch was looking at the battle report. The ruler of darkness, Mandela, once said that if she personally led the army, she could take down the Azure Supreme Empire and the Crimson Emperor Kingdom at any time. This time they were slapped in the face. The Bloodthirsty Legion will have to retreat. They lost 4 more armies. How can they fight? More than 10 armies were wiped out just like that. Our Azure Emperor dynasty's losses added up to only 1 army. The difference is huge. However, given Mandela's personality, she won't give up just like that. She probably has something else up her sleeve, Xian Daozi said. Her backup plan is probably the same as the Red Emperor's. She wants to kill Night Sorrow. But do you think it's that easy? Besides, Night Sorrow's doppelganger is out there. It's impossible for them to kill Night Sorrow. Qing Emperor sneered. Night Sorrow returned to Nine Chong Tower. World of Reincarnation. Sky Seizing Island. It was a special country. Zhan Taiyang, the owner of the island, was one of the giants in the world of reincarnation. If the East District of the world of reincarnation had 3 top forces, then the North District was dominated by the Heaven Seizing Island. Zhan Taiyang was reading the information about the East District of the world of reincarnation. Island owner, this Night Sorrow is the person I divined. Because we were far away, the Qing Emperor got the upper hand. A man said. He was the chief diviner of the Wuyo archipelago, Jiang Wuyo. In a situation where the giants can't easily make a move, the Qing Emperor's empire will develop very steadily with such an invincible commander. In addition, his potential is also very amazing. This person is very talented. He's worthy of me using the Heaven Seizing technique. Zhan Taiyang said. But if we do that, the Qing Emperor might go crazy. Jiang Wuyu was stunned. He'll go crazy? Who will he go crazy with? Now that the Qing Emperor's empire and the Dark Abyss are in a confrontation, he will look for Datura. This blame will be taken by Datura. Alright, you'll be in charge of the Heaven Seizing Island during this period. I'll go out for a walk. Zhan Taiyang left the main hall of the Heaven Seizing Island. Jiang Wuyu knew that the world of reincarnation was going to be chaotic. The East District of the world of reincarnation was already chaotic. If Zhan Taiyang made a move, it would be even more chaotic. Originally, Zhang Taiyang's aptitude was very ordinary. The reason why he was able to have such great achievements now was because of a strange technique that he had researched, the heaven-seizing technique. It could be used to steal other people's cultivation aptitude and even their attributes. This was one of the important reasons for Zhang Taiyang's achievements. However, the heaven-seizing technique was an evil technique. It had a great effect on karma. Therefore, Zhang Taiyang wouldn't make a move unless he met a cultivator with heaven-defying talent. In the dark abyss, Datura informed Rowan and also made a move. Night Sorrow's existence was a hindrance to the development of the dark abyss. He had to be dealt with. Chapter 1188. Then are you going back? Sikong Chiyu asked. I still have things to do here, so I can't leave. Besides, I have Uncle Xia's protection, Fei Xiu and the others. My personal safety is not a problem. I'm just worried that someone will attack you and use you to threaten me, Night Sorrow said. Alright, let's do as Night Sorrow says. Let's not make him worry, Yi Wuyo said. Yi Shang bowed to his father. His father supported him in everything he did. After sending his family away, Night Sorrow felt much more at ease. Looking at Night Sorrow, who was deep in thought, Hong Yi made a pot of tea for Night Sorrow. At this time, Hong Yi and Lan Ning were clones. They had used time acceleration in the space-time pagoda to successfully condense their clones. I don't need anyone to take care of me. You can go back. Night Sorrow looked at Hong Yi and Lan Ning and said. He wanted to chase Xuexi away, but Hong Yi and Lan Ning insisted. Their clones were king, so they had to serve Night Sorrow. Young master, don't say any more. We are clones. Even if something happens, no one can use us to threaten you, Hong Yi said with a smile. Alright. You win. Then that's it. No one can do anything to us if they come looking for trouble. Night Sorrow nodded and drank his tea. Night Sorrow studied the Array Dao every day and watched the army train. The god-slaying team also trained with the army. Everyone's cultivation improved very quickly, especially Tianyu and Yi Mei. Both of them were now Saint Kings. Night Sorrow had to admire them for this. Talented monster beasts were powerful. Some bottlenecks did not exist at all. Returning to Origin, which had blocked countless people, was nothing to them. Some others had also entered the Saint Realm because Night Sorrow had given them a batch of Saint Crystals, so there was no problem for them to enter the Saint Realm. Night Sorrow told them that if they wanted to practice combat they could train with the Nine Heaven Army. If they wanted to improve their cultivation they could return to Sky City. Night Sorrow asked his wife to bring the Space-Time Pagoda back to Sky City. He did not need it now, but many people around him needed time acceleration. Night Sorrow did not have to worry about Heaven Tiger Pass because Nu Lin was there. Nu Lin's talent was very good. In addition, with Night Sorrow's support, the other generals were willing to cooperate with him to guard Heaven Tiger Pass. On this day, Yi Shang was resting on the recliner with his eyes closed when Qing Wan arrived. After inviting Qing Wan sat, Night Sorrow made a pot of tea. Night Sorrow. Yes. Junior brother Night, you know the original situation of the Qing Wan army. After the Thunder Corps left, their strength decreased a lot. Later they merged with the Azure Qilin army. Speaking of which, it was to fight with you. Now that this situation is no longer necessary, I plan to make some changes, Qing Wan said. The establishment of the Nine Heaven Army has indeed decreased the strength of the Azure Qilin and Qing Wan armies. You can ask Honored Master to see if he can replenish the troops. Night Sorrow knew that the strength of the Azure Qilin and Qing Wan armies was not as good as before. Father said that he will not ask about the matters of the army now. You can make all the decisions, Qing Wan said. Her face was a little unnatural. She was the real princess, but now she had to listen to Night Sorrow. It was mainly because she had made things difficult for Night Sorrow some time ago, so she was a little embarrassed at this moment. Most P New or Chapter B, the Nine Heaven Army has 7 armies, but they are all newly established. Now is a special time, so we can't touch them, Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. I don't have any ideas about the Nine Heaven Army. Junior brother Night, can you see if you can give a military order to Pine Yuan City's army and have Azure Qilin and Qing Wan replenish an army each? Only then will our army be complete, Qing Wan quickly explained. She did not want Night Sorrow to misunderstand that she was thinking about the Nine Heaven Army. A while ago, Pine Yuan City replenished our Nine Heaven Army with 2 armies. We don't know if they still have the ability to do so. Rashly giving a military order may make things difficult for them. How about this, Let's go to Pineyuan City and see what the army there has to say, Knight Sorrow said. Then many thanks, junior brother Knight. Qing Wan stood up and cupped her hands towards Knight Sorrow. Afterwards, Knight Sorrow brought Summer City and Qing Emperor's guard squad to Pineyuan City. When the army of Pineyuan City saw Knight Sorrow, their attitude was very polite. Now that Knight Sorrow was the Empire's #1 commander, he could command all the armies and guards. It's like this. Azure Qilin and Qing Wan armies are not fully staffed and want to replenish. Pineyuan City replenished the 9 Heaven Army with 2 armies a while ago, so I came to see if the situation allows Azure Qilin and Qing Wan armies to expand, Knight Sorrow said. This is a bit rushed, but your highness can give this subordinate 3 months. Right now we are all new. If we rashly transfer them away, their combat strength will also be a problem, the army of Pineyuan City said. Alright, then I will trouble you. When the time is right, replenish the Azure Qilin and Qing Wan armies. Right, I am not overstepping my authority by asking about this matter, right? Knight Sorrow asked. Not at all. This does not count. Right now, everything in Pineyuan City should be reported to your highness. It's just that there have been many things recently, so this subordinate was not in a hurry. The army of Pineyuan City bowed. Afterwards, Knight Sorrow brought his men and Qing Wan back to the 9 grand floors. The situation is like this. Princess can only wait for 3 more months. Many thanks, junior brother Knight. Many thanks for your magnanimity and for not bickering with Qing Wan. Qing Wan cupped her hands towards Knight Sorrow. Today she had seen Knight Sorrow's magnanimity and felt a bit guilty. It's nothing. If there are any problems with your defense line, let me know. Knight Sorrow shook his head. Looking at Qing Wan's departing figure, Summer City said, Your Highness really doesn't care about her and Azure Qilin being ostracized? What's there to care about? It's understandable for her father to have some thoughts about the Empire. Let's just let it pass. The main thing is that I can't let Master be unhappy, Knight Sorrow said. Yes, Your Highness really has peace of mind by accepting you as a disciple, Summer City said. The two of them did not know that Zhang Taiyang had already arrived at the Qing Emperor's city. He hid his cultivation and walked around the Qing Emperor's city. He easily found the 9 grand floors and stayed in an inn not far from the 9 grand floors. He wanted to observe the situation. Knight Sorrow was very important to him. The King of Time and Space dual attributes was worthy of him using the heaven-seizing technique. In the world of reincarnation there were many kings of life, death and space, but there were almost no kings of time. The time attribute was very difficult to comprehend, and it was the strongest in terms of battle power. The few big shots in the world of reincarnation were not of the time attribute. Zhang Taiyang felt that if he could use the heaven-seizing technique on Knight Sorrow, regardless of whether he could break through the bottleneck, his battle strength would increase greatly. The few world of reincarnation giants would be suppressed by him. Not long after Zhang Taiyang stayed in the inn, Datura also appeared. She was wearing a simple long black dress with Datura embroidered on it. It was very unique. Sovereigns could not hide from the Qing Emperor's guards, but Datura had the ability to hide from the Qing Emperor's guards. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.